All right, good evening. Welcome to Fantastic Dimensions. This is part two of The Eyes of a Stranger for Hudson and Brand, our Cthulhu by Gaslight campaign. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe down below so you can see notifications when we run more games in the future. And if you enjoy this video, or if you are a fan and have enjoyed videos in the past, please hit the thumbs up button as well. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, so that we can continue to stream games and improve our stream quality, etc. Please consider supporting my Patreon, which is in the description down below. Now, all the housekeeping out of the way, we will return to the investigation. At the Masonic Lodge, before he departed, Wilhelm von Zorn would have run into his good friend, Mr. August Breckenridge. I got your last name correct there? Yeah? Augie Breckenridge?
Breckenridge, Dunhampton.
Ah, Breckenridge Dunhampton. See, I knew I'd screwed up. Mr. August Breckenridge Dunhampton. And he'd have a distressed look on his face, Augie, when he sees you and says, Augie, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Tell me, are you working on anything right now?
Well, let's say I'm focusing on certain legal aspects of my life.
Hmm. Are you in need of money? Do you need a job?
Well, no, no, of course not. Uh, but well, come to think of it, I I do dearly miss a bit of excitement, and well, of course, there's always gifts to buy for the wife and the like.
Yes, quite right. A bit of distraction is always good for the mind. I've got quite the distraction for you if you're interested. Um, I've just taken on a case for the agency. Looks like I'll be footing the bill on this one, but it's kind of a personal case in a sense. One of our brethren, Mr. John Bidwell, was murdered in his home last night, and the police inspectors were around the agency this morning interrogating myself and my partner and um, the rest of our associates because we happen to have been present at a party at Mr. Bidwell's home last night, right before he was murdered. At the moment, suspicion seems to have moved off of us, and the prime suspect seems to be the man's very own butler. Um, but we don't know the details, and the butler is still missing. Either way, I've decided to look into this to try to find out why somebody would have killed one of our Masonic brothers in such a way, and of course, also for the selfish interest of trying to keep the heat off of my own shoulders, as it were. But um, if you'd be interested in helping us out with this, perhaps you could swing by the agency. My colleague Ruben should be there, as well as a couple of other regulars around the office, and he could bring you further up to speed on things. I just have something that I need to go and check out. Perhaps, in fact, if you do go, you could tell Ruben and company to meet me at Bidwell's house. Um, hmm, I'm thinking around sundown. So let me see here. It's now December in London, so yes, say meet me around the corner from Bidwell's house, and he'll just name the corner of two streets. Um, it's in St. John's Wood at 4 p.m., a little bit before dark, and then we can find a way in together and see if we can find out any more information. We're not officially cleared for this by Scotland Yard, so it will require a bit of subterfuge. You think you're up for it, old sport?
The butler did it. The cad. Well, always happy to help a fellow traveller, and I know how to stalk and keep silent when required. Never you fear.
Exactly. And I mean, if someone is bumping off Masons, Well, it never hurts to have a little extra muscle around either.
As you say.
Excellent. Very well. You remember where the office is, yes?
Yes, that fine little joint. Quite a fine collection of firearms, if I recall. And those masks. Intriguing.
Indeed. It reminds me. Yes, I'll have to organize one for you as well. I've been doing um, I've been doing a special pistol for anybody who helps us out with cases. I'll have to see if I can't organize one for you in the coming weeks, especially if you help us out with this one. Um, but anyway, I really need to I need to look into something. I'll be heading down to Limehouse, but I will meet you in St. John's Wood at the corner of X and Y Street in about 4 hours. Yeah, that's 4 o'clock.
Well, on your horse then. We'll see you there.
Oh, and if you are meeting with the others for lunch, do ask Markham for a slice of the strudel. Mrs. Levi made a fresh one yesterday, and I think you'll find it quite enjoyable.
And that partner of yours, is he still so averse to cigars?
Oh, Reuben, don't mind him. He's averse to anything that's fun. And at that, he tips his hat and he heads out and hails a handsome cab.
Yeah, so Augie will take a circuitous route to the establishment mentioned after doffing his mason attire, and yes, and go and pay a visit to Hudson and Brown.
Excellent. So, at the offices of Hudson and Brand, in fact, what do I have here? Apparently, I have nothing. Oh, no, indeed, I don't. Um, Hudson Brand folder is there. Let's pop this up for visual sake. Oops. Let's say okay. Ah, I see. Why? Ah, there. There's the old office of Hudson and Brand. 33 Golden Square. And of course, you'll see. Well, once you arrive, if you ring the bell, then you may remember old Markham, the butler, who will meet you, open the door, and say, "Ah, Mr. Dunhampton, is it?"
Yes, yes. Quick, let me in, Markham.
It
And
has it has been some time.
yeah, I think rather unceremoniously you'll slip past Markham into the establishment and say, Mr. Zorn requested my assistance on an investigation. And remembering the layout of this place,
Yes,
he'll sidle over quickly to a window with a view of the street and peek out the curtains, squinting and scanning outside.
indeed. There's one immediately to the left in the parlor. And at this point in time, Ruben, would you be? It's lunchtime. Would you be in your room, or would you be um, in near the parlor anywhere at all? Or
We'll say he's in the parlor reviewing some paperwork,
very good. Then you would
a
see
book,
Augie come
book
in
perhaps.
and start peeking out the window and hear him speaking to Markham. And Markham will step in, looking kind of amused, and say, "Master August Breckenridge Dunhampton, sir." And he closes the door and
Indeed.
locks it behind you.
Augie,
Excuse
well
that.
met.
Ah, Reuben, good to see you. I was speaking with Mr. Zorn, and he requested my assistance on an investigation you're currently involved in, involving a certain John Bidwell.
Indeed. What did he pass along to you thus far?
Stepping back from the window, he'll make sure the curtains are pulled to, and turn around and gaze off as if remembering something. Something about a butler, I believe.
Indeed. We were at a party, and everything was in line to be a social event of the year for us, dates and all. And then there was a séance that didn't amount to much. And then in the morning, the Mr. Bidwell was found dead, and now his butler's missing. And there was a bit of hubbub and sabers rattling that it might have had something to do with us, but it did not. I noted your intense viewing of the window. Oh, is there something I should know?
Well, it's just of late, I can't help but feel as though I'm being followed. You know, there's times when I miss the wilderness, the savannah, the thrill of combat. I've traded blows with the mountain men of the Congo and passed through the dark night of malarial madness, and even faced down the charge of the hideous and titanic African unicorn. But there's horrors in this city, which, well, to be frank, I find quite unnerving. Men with their notebooks, their strange little language they speak, which makes no sense.
Lawyers. Indeed. Well met. Bastards, every one of them.
And at
You
about
have it,
this
sir.
time, Gerard, you would have heard the noise in the conversation in the parlor. And so, if you were interested in joining the conversation, you could. As Markham will return to the kitchen to fetch the brandy snifters and a bottle, and I'll say to Belgrave, Master Belgrave, perhaps you would or Mr. Belgrave, sorry, Mr. Belgrave, perhaps you would be interested in joining the conversation in the parlor as well. It seems an old friend of the agency has arrived to join you on your current case.
Very good. I shall head that way now. Shall I take those drinks?
No, I'll bring these in shortly, but if you would like to grab the cigar box over there, if I recall correctly, Master Dunhampton was quite fond of a cigar.
Of course. I'll go and do that.
All right.
Ah, new faces. I am August Breckenridge Dunhampton, a good friend of Wilhelm von Zorn. Pleasure to meet you, sirs.
And Gerard will walk over and shake his hand. And then it's good to meet you too.
Does sir enjoy a cigar?
I do indeed. And then he'll rather coyly reach for it, looking over at Reuben.
Oh, yes,
Uh,
Augie, for sure. Light up the cigar. Let me open the window and the curtains for you. Open all the windows and the curtains. Let some air in. Let's do this.
Perhaps we should withdraw to the rear parlor.
Indeed. Do carry on, gentlemen. I will be abstaining from the cigars.
Well, sirs, of course, I assume you are privy to all the goings on here, so I shall not hesitate in relating that Mr. Zorn has asked me to aid in this matter with uh, the death, or indeed murder, of Mr. Bidwell, and the location of a certain errant butler. Ah, and I would be remiss if I did not tell you that he has asked that we meet him at sundown nearby the Bidwell house.
Hmm.
Indeed, and
It was,
we will endeavor to do so.
and it was next to the house. It wasn't at the house, was it?
Correct. He would have said around the corner, you know, so kind of out of view of the house itself, because, well, like you said, there was a murder there. There's probably going to be police presence, and you guys don't have um, direct permission to to enter the premises or search it, but which is why he inferred that it would require some subterfuge, some clandestine doings, as it were.
So, whipping out a penknife, he'll prepare his cigar and look up at these two new gentlemen, and perhaps Reuben's still within earshot. I'm not sure. Perhaps if you could relate to me the manner of his death.
Let me see. There's been so much death of late. I, I, I truthfully don't remember. We were so caught up in the moment.
He was stabbed through the heart with a fireplace poker.
That's right. The fireplace poker stab. Indeed.
Also,
Stabbed through the heart with a fireplace poker.
well, I'll private message you, John, with any other details. Sorry. Please continue.
Markham, be a good man and pass us along a fireplace poker if you wouldn't mind. For a spot of, well, not quite reenactment, but
Hmm.
it would take
Yes.
quite some strength to thrust a fireplace poker through someone's heart, I would imagine. This butler, what do we know of him? A strong man, then?
Well, sir, as I understand it, the man was nothing to write home about in terms of physical prowess. We did, of course, test a fireplace poker, as you are about to do yourself, and we have come to the same conclusion that it would take quite a bit of strength to thrust that through the heart of a grown man.
I do believe the butler's name was Hanson. Handsome Hanson. Yes, but he was nothing to speak of. He was certainly no strong man.
Well,
By the way, Augie, this is Belgrave. He is our man when we go out and about, perhaps to fill the role of Markham when Markham does retire, but he is our concierge. And Gerard is a well-known and quite well-talented violinist and adventurer in his own right.
Markham comes in with a tray with several brandy snifters on it and a small bucket of ice with a small set of ice tongs, as it were. And of course, a nice bottle of cognac.
Noting Markham's position and such. Markham, please, you and Belgrave, join us.
Very good, sir.
So he will approach August first as the guest, the prevalent guest, I guess, at the moment, and say, "Would you care for some ice with your brandy, sir?"
I believe in December I will refrain.
As you wish. And so he will pour you a nice room temperature snifter of cognac, and then he will proceed to serve everyone else before taking the table and tray, or sorry, the tray over to the table in the parlor, setting it down and pouring himself a small snifter. and he will dutifully stand near the door as he sips at it.
Was this a new bottle of cognac?
Yeah, relatively, pretty much full.
It hasn't been opened.
Well, it has been opened, yes.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
That was intriguing. I want to know where that was going.
Is it
Curiosity.
poisoned?
Okay.
The poisoned one?
No, it has been opened,
No.
but it barely. It's pretty
He
fresh.
would well, to serve your curiosity, he would, if it hadn't been opened yet, and once it was opened, he would take it in his mouth and taste it and, you know, comment on it. But
Ah,
it's something we've had before, so it's gonna be the same.
Yeah, only just recently got this particular bottle in from France.
Now, about this seance, you say nothing untoward appeared to happen during it. Then there was no attempt to befuddle or fool or other such charlatan behavior.
when his seances tend to go, it was fairly uneventful until the next day, of course, when the host was found dead. So I guess a bit of a delayed reaction.
A poor ending to most parties, indeed. Anything else before we proceed?
No, I believe that's the gist of it, sir. You've caught us at the beginning, just as we were putting on our shoes, as it were.
Well, before you put on your shoes, too quickly, Markham will say, um, Mr. Belgrave and I were preparing lunch, so I will bring the sandwiches.
Indeed.
And he'll
Thank
set
you,
his
Markham.
And
or
I will go and help him with the trays.
he'll carry his glass with him, and he'll take the tray back too. No, actually, he'll leave the tray there, just in case anybody wants more brandy. You're all professional gentlemen. If you want to get sloshed in the middle of the day, well, that's your own business. It's nearly Christmas time.
So, the hunt is afoot for this butler Hanson. Do we know if he has family in the city or any other leads?
Again, you found us wanting any more information than you've already received yourself. We just came across this ourselves.
And you know, of course, that this Bidwell is a fellow traveler, a brother of the lodge.
I am not a member of the lodge. I don't know what you speak of. The Masons?
Yes, sir.
You jest with me. Me join the Masons. You are a jolly one.
At this, August will do a subtle hand gesture to see if there's any other Masons present.
Would hand gestures count as a cult?
Yeah, they're generally kind of secretive, but if you made a really good roll, I might let you recognize it.
Well, let us take a quick gander at the old rolling of the rolls.
Yes, do.
Ian, like I'm assuming Masons aren't really what you would call a secret society. I know they're
Yes, they are.
Well, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They have like their lodges and stuff. Like.
Oh yeah. No, they are. They do, but they tend to kind of keep a lot of it to themselves. You know what I mean? Still, nonetheless, like membership isn't exactly public knowledge, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know that it's going to be good enough, but I got a 35. And his occult, I believe, was an 80. So let me check. Occult is an 80.
Okay,
so
yeah, that's
30.
a hard success. I would say, yeah, you recognize it as some kind of like a sign, something that like a hand gesture that Masons do to identify themselves, perhaps. But you don't.
Is there any chance he would
You don't know
well, the call and the return?
Give me another roll. I don't think so, though. No.
All right, stand by. A 72 out of an
No,
80, so it's just a
definitely
regular success. Okay,
No. And nobody
good.
returns the response, August, so you
Maybe
are
Markham.
alone.
Maybe Markham. Mm,
No. Markham's in the kitchen anyway with Belgrave.
indeed.
But, nope. So, like Masons would know each other, generally speaking, for sure.
Well, at the hand sign, not knowing the return, he'll give him the old side of the nose and the wink.
Okay. Very well.
Not the classic response, but
Nope.
No, definitely
not. Then should we proceed to? I'm not sure if we've got much time between now and sundown.
You got a couple hours, yeah. You got time for lunch, and you guys have a coach on retainer for the agency, so you won't have to wait for anyone to take you. What was your coach driver's name? I want to say it was Albert. Albert Sefford. Yes, that's him. Yep. Albert is always kind of ready to take you wherever you need to go.
So, Augie, I see you have a bit of reservation with the outside world as it is at the moment. Perhaps we could delve into the world of disguise. Something you might be interested in?
What do you have in mind, sir? I won't shave. I can tell you that much.
Well, they will. They will be looking for you as is. So perhaps, maybe a bit of color with the hair. Temporary as it could be. We could use powders and such.
Well, I wouldn't like to be caught with powders on my face. Perhaps a different hat.
Right. Very good. Easy enough. Another hat it is. Ha ha.
Ruben strikes me as the kind of person who would have lots of different hats around.
Indeed. I'm sure I can find a properly silly hat to distract the lawyers.
Excellent.
Nice deerstalker or something.
And I misspelled the butler's name in the chat. I apologize. It's Hanson Bartlett, I think.
Bartlett the butler. Butler Bartlett.
Well,
Hanson. The Hanson. Gotcha.
Jesus Christ.
So do we want to do any investigation before we go to the Bidwell house?
I don't know that we can do anything from here, can we? I mean,
let me think here. Let me just look and see if there's anything in particular.
Could I find out if the butler was a Mason?
Oh, yeah, I suppose you could like return to the lodge, try to find out if Hanson Bartlett. Although you're pretty sure that
his social standing.
No, that Wilhelm would have told you if you were, because Wilhelm was already. Yeah, it is Bartlett. It's Bartlet is his last name, Hanson Bartlett. So yeah, you're pretty sure he's not.
So were we informed whether he was married, had any children, anybody else lived at the premises, anything
Bartlett
like that?
himself? No, he didn't have any family or anything like that. So not at the
Any other servants that was there at the house?
There were other servants. Yeah, there'd be the women who take care of all the cleaning and stuff, and what are they called? I'm trying to remember the name for it. They are called charwomen. Yeah.
Would they be leaving in the evening, or would they be on call there at the
They
house?
probably would have. Well, you were there late for the party, right? So you know that they had left. They probably would have come back in the morning to do the proper cleaning up. You know.
So it would just been him and the butler.
It was just him and the butler. Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha.
As far as you know. Anything else here about Bartlett? Not really. No. I mean, kind of the next logical thing would be to probably check out the house itself. Um,
And I think August would say, if I recall from the baffling case of Bare Knuckle Bill, you have a contact amongst the constabulary.
Indeed, several.
Perhaps he may be willing to share some information.
I,
That is it. That is a thought.
I believe he's referring to Sergeant Parlow.
Right. We can get word to Sergeant Parlow and see if there's anything that he could pass along. Now, as far as the school for boys, did the mother and the boy move into the school as was offered to get him into a better lodging and to get her employed and such?
Um, are you talking about the Forbies?
Right. 40s.
Is that who you're talking about?
His girlfriend.
No. The little boy that we've been assisting with the street kids.
Oh, okay.
Albie?
Albie. The last bit of background work we were doing was Albie and his mother were offered to leave their hovel and move
yeah.
into the school.
Yeah. That'll be taken care of. Yeah. You got the school
Okay,
up and running.
so Albie will be coming by this morning, and Ruben will have something for him when he gets there. So let me know when he gets there.
Okay. No problem.
And then we will get, and then I'm going to use Albie to get word to Sergeant Parlow.
Okay. No problem. So yeah, Albie will come by in the afternoon, probably just a little after you guys have your lunch and all that. So maybe by say 2 o'clock or something. Albie he swings by all the time. You see him all the time. In fact, hold on, let me pull up an image of him. Albie, here's Albie. Say okay, and can we make that visible? Yes, there he is. Ooh, Albie, you've grown. There, that's a little bit better. There's a little Albie.
Yeah, but he'll be in decent clothing. I'll make sure of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's not quite the street urchin that he used to be.
That's his look when he wants to look that way. He's got a bit of disguise in him, and he's a bit of an actor himself.
Here, we'll go with headshot only. There you go.
Oh, it's his spear down on Belgrave's face.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, Belgrave.
Anyway,
Blackness.
Fixed. Sorry, I'm still learning how to use this OBS shit.
Albie, come here. Sit down for a moment.
Yes, Master Carmichael.
Your little birds. I'm going to put a bit of uniformity to it. Which do you feel more drawn to? Crows or goldfinch? As a name.
Oh, the crows.
Definitely. That's exactly what I thought. And he's going to lay out a rolled up bit of cloth, and he rolls it out, and he's got 13 little black metal crows pins. Choose the first for yourself, young Master Albie.
Oh, well, he reaches in, takes one, and he pins it to his lapel.
These other 12 are completely up to you. Make sure you choose wisely. You don't have to give them all at once. Make sure you can trust the individual you give it to, and this will be a sign that we know that they're in your stead. They're in your confidence.
12 confidants. Like my own apostles.
Sure, yes. How goes it at the school?
Well, she keeps us busy, that's for sure.
Good. And the schooling?
Yeah, I guess it's good. Boring. To be quite honest with you, I don't know why I need to know so many numbers.
Yes, all of it's boring until something clicks. That's why you have to try all these different subjects, because while the numbers might not click for you, some of the words might. And if not the words, then the thoughts of travel. Something's going to click for you. You have to try lots of different cheeses to find the one you like.
Well, if you say so, Mr. Carmichael.
In the meantime, we need to get word to Sergeant Parlow to stop by at his convenience, and I'd like to get you and or some of your fellow crows to head over to. He's going to give the address that was noted where we're going to be going, the Bidwell's
Uh,
address,
okay.
and just to keep an eye on things to see the comings and goings, and when we come by this afternoon, pass it along. We're just going to see if there's anything that they might catch with their good eyes.
Right. Well, there's Scotland Yard's got people coming in and out of there all day, from what I've heard.
Indeed, we're looking for others than Scotland Yard, of course.
Okay.
Anybody else sneaking in the back door, that sort of thing.
Sure. As far as Sergeant Parlow, I believe he finishes his round somewhere around 5 o'clock in the evening, sir. Will I have him come by after that? Or will I
Indeed,
request
that'll
he
be
come by
fine.
after that? Very well. I'll send him the message, sir.
Stop by with Markham on your way out, or with our other young gentleman here, and they will hook you up with some strudel and perhaps your daily portion of gin. Wink.
Yes, sir. He goes rushing off to the kitchen.
And Albie,
Yes.
I look forward to meeting your other crows.
Yes, sir. I will try to have them organized as soon as I can, sir.
Carry on, boy. Doing good.
All right. So then, I think it's only maybe like a half hour to St. John's Wood, so maybe close to 2:30. You can summon the carriage and head up there. Are you all four going?
Indeed.
You don't really
I
have
am.
any other tasks
Sure.
to tend to at the moment, so there's no need for splitting the party. I don't see any strategic reason to, but it's up to you. But if you all four go, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, once you get up there, and I imagine you'll do kind of the drive by, so you can have a peek at Bidwell's house. You will see a single constable standing guard basically at the front door. And then Albert will drive you around the corner to the street corner that was requested, where you can wait for Master Von Zorn.
Did Ruben catch eye of the young man that he asked to watch the area while they're driving by?
Roll a spot hidden.
Stand by, sir. Alrighty, well that's a decent enough roll, 34. Let me see what his spot hidden is. Spot hidden is a 61. So if it was very important, I could drop it another 4 points, but other than that, it's a normal success.
You rolled a normal success? No, you see no sign of him.
Good.
Since it's 4 o'clock in the evening, or well, it's late afternoon, might as well be evening now though, because it's approaching midwinter. It's the 13th of December, and it's already getting quite dark. The sun has long disappeared behind the buildings. The sky is an ever darkening gray to twilight at this stage, and the what are they called? Are they called gas lighters? What are the guys called that they go around and light the gas lamps?
Lamp lighters.
Lamp lighters, yes. The lamp lighters are out. One in particular on this street, you see, will be walking by lighting the gas lamps. Albert will say, do you wish to stay here in the carriage, sir, or will I leave you here and come back? Or what are your instructions?
Well, I would assume that you just stand by. Right? I don't want to be here that long.
Very well, sir.
Unless you have something pressing.
Not at all. No. Just you had that look in your eyes. I thought perhaps, perhaps you may need me to hide away somewhere or something. I don't know.
I know, sir. I think we're going to be okay.
Maybe
you
I
can
was just
take.
getting too excited.
I'm sure there'll be some excitement in the near future. In the meantime, it will take us a small amount of time. So if you wanted to go secure a cup or whatever, that'd be fine.
Things have been pretty quiet in London ever since the Jackal case last year.
Indeed. Don't need that level of excitement on a routine basis.
As you say, sir. Okay. So you
Gentlemen.
wait for Reuben, or wait for Wilhelm.
Indeed.
All right. So 4 o'clock passes.
Young
Lamplighter.
Elby, is it? Have you seen anyone go into the house and not come out again?
Oh, Albie's not with you now.
Yeah, I haven't. I definitely to retcon that. I definitely would have shared that. I have Ruben would have shared that he has
Yeah, why don't you still?
a group of children that he's been uplifting, bootstrapping them, as it were, to get them an education, bit of discipline, and in the meantime, the eyes and ears on the streets. And we do have several of them watching the house at this time, but they have evaded my view, which I must applaud them and reward them, because I did not tell them to report in. They were just to observe. So I will catch up with that information later. But if you happen to spot one, let me know.
You would be aware, John or Reuben, if you prefer, that if there was anything to report, they would seek you out anyway. So
For sure.
he would approach you. So if
Indeed.
there's anything pressing, of course. Okay, that's what I need. So I have an image. Oh, I have a map for the Bidwell house. I guess I could put that up. That would be a good idea. That's what I will do then. First of all, let's swap over here. Image. There we go. We'll call this image 3. Okay. And since you are at the Bidwell house, I can put up the map for the Bidwell house. The Eyes of a Stranger, is that what this is called? Oh, I'm not in the right folder. The Eyes of a Stranger. Pow. Okay. We can make that bigger. Slip it over more center screen. I believe I sent this to you before, did I not, in the chat, or do you want me to send it again? I guess I'll send it again anyway because August wouldn't have a copy. Here we go. Just in case you wish to see it in a better resolution on your own display rather than through the limitations of bandwidth. All right. So,
in the case of the Bidwell house murder, we're looking at the master of the house being killed in one of the rooms by the butler with a fire poker, seeking a clue, as it were.
yeah, I'm not sure. Did he tell you where the murder took place or anything? I don't think he gave you
Nope.
those details. Just said that he was stabbed through the heart.
Imagine there'll be some. Yeah, if we don't know, I mean, there's got to be some blood stains still, I guess, unless they've been really meticulous.
I would imagine it's somewhere near where the fireplaces are. Just saying.
That would be probably a pretty solid bit of detective work there.
Well, I hear they're portable though.
Indeed. But as a weapon of opportunity, seems like they would take the opportunity and then use it.
Just check. Was there any more information? Let's see.
I would think wandering through the house with a fire poker might be a little conspicuous.
But anyway, 4 o'clock passes. 4:15. The lamplighter is now long gone. All the gas lamps lit, and it's getting darker and darker. By 4:30, it is almost completely dark. Well, of course, except for the lamp lights.
And still no Von Zorn.
And the fog settling in, and no sign of Von Zorn. He is now half an hour late.
Reuben will excuse himself, leaving the party to observe, and head back to the residence. I have to meet up with Sergeant Parlow, and I will be back presently. Parlo was supposed to be there after he gets off at 5.
Yeah.
If he shows up.
It's a half-hour ride back to.
Indeed.
Yep. Okay. So you
Is
leave
there-
them. You leave the three of them. Gerard, Belgrave, and August. He leaves you on the street corner as he takes off with the carriage.
Is there still a guard in front of the place?
Oh yes.
Just one.
Yeah. If you walk over and kind of look around the corner, you'll.
I'm gonna take a chance and walk up to him. I'm gonna take out my pocket watch.
Okay.
Put it
You walk
down.
up, start walking up.
No, I'm gonna take before I turn the corner. I put the pocket watch down inside my pants pocket deeply.
Mhm.
Walk up to the guy at the door and present him with my calling card and say, I was here last night for a ball. I've lost my pocket watch. It was a gift from my grandmother. May I go in and check around and see if I could find my pocket watch? I know it was probably somewhere around the lavatory or somewhere in that area.
I'm not allowed to let anyone in, sir, unless they're working with the yard. I'm afraid. Grisly
How
bit of
about if
business
you
here last night.
how about if you accompany me?
Nope, I am to remain posted here on this door. Make sure no one enters. I will keep your calling card though, and if anything is found, I will make sure to
Oh, thank you.
that you're contacted. I'll let Inspector Cleveland know that you came by looking for your pocket watch.
Thank you. So go back around. As he's going around, which side corner are we at? On if we're facing the front door, are we to the right or to the left?
Let's see here. I haven't given it too much thought. Let's see, where is the front door on here? Oh yeah, so there's a foyer, there's front door. So I'm gonna say you are around the right. There'll be other
Okay.
houses probably too, you know what I mean? But yeah.
So if we go a little farther than just around the corner, could we be able to see the back door and see if there's anybody guarding the back door?
Ah,
Is it?
the back door by the kitchen. Good call.
Yes, the kitchen door. Yes.
Yeah, if you want to walk around there and have a look.
Okay.
Are you taking your friends with you?
They would like to accompany me.
So yeah, as you walk around the back, you will see nobody is at the back door.
Yeah, actually, was just about to suggest that we check the service door.
Nope, there is no guard at the back door. Just the one single constable at the front.
I'll tell them what I did. I'll tell them what I did. That way they have an idea, what's happened so far.
Is there any activity in the house at all?
No, it looks dark.
Mm. Okay. Did we know if there's more servants than just the butler?
There were other servants there. Yeah, I mean he had a huge party, so you don't know how many of them necessarily were hired on for the party. Probably doesn't have waiters on staff all the time, but
right.
Generally speaking, it's a good-sized house. You'd figure he probably has at least. I mean, even just for your office, you guys have two. You have
a housekeeper, a butler, and then probably a houseboy or house girl, at least.
And there's obviously no smoke coming out of the chimney.
No, not at all. It doesn't look like
There are no lights on at all in the house, so it probably wouldn't do us any good to go in there anyway.
Yeah, because I imagine a lot of servants, or some servants at least, would live in on the premises normally, wouldn't they?
Well, looking at the map, there is a butler's room, and that's it.
Okay, so he'd be the only one.
Nope, there's an upstairs servant room as well. Upstairs servant's room as well. But it does
For some reason, you seem really quiet to me, Ian.
I do?
For me, at least. I don't know about anyone else.
Me too.
I don't know why. Is that any better?
That's much better. Oh, yeah.
What the fuck? This microphone is weird. It must be really, really sensitive. Okay, sorry. Thank you for telling me. Please don't hesitate to tell me the same in the future, because that's got to be really annoying for anybody who watches the broadcast as well.
Or they might just consider you to be old and not very good with technology.
Yeah. No, that's you, buddy. That's you. So, right. Any other questions?
Well, So this is a pretty well-to-do neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
are there any other like drivers or something like that lingering out the front
Other cab
of?
drivers and such, they're
Yeah.
not lingering, no.
Um, it's pretty much it'd be good to catch like another servant or a someone in the neighborhood who would be more willing to gossip about goings on, and maybe we can find out who these other servants are. Um, so
I
if I
gotcha.
find, so if I can see anyone who, yeah, looks like
Keep an eye out at the other nearby houses and wait for a servant to come out, maybe bringing out bringing the trash out. I don't know.
yeah,
What's your
something like
luck?
that. I'm not sure actually. What is that? That's like, does that change per?
It could, yes, because you can spend luck to change rolls and such, or to adjust rolls.
It's 3d6 times 5, isn't it?
Yeah, if you don't have it on your
What?
character sheet,
55.
you should have it on your
55.
character sheet already. Do you not?
Yeah, I should.
Ah, okay. Perhaps you didn't use it last time.
um, I'll just take a few
Come to
points
think
off.
of it, I think he used like 40
All
points of it.
Yeah, okay.
I think he pulled a Zorn and went all the way down to 3.
um,
Just roll fresh,
50.
dude.
What'd you roll?
So I rolled 11, so that's 55
Yep,
luck. And I
55 luck.
rolled a 53.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, eventually you will see someone stepping out, maybe kind of sweeping off the what do you call that? The balcony, the not balcony, but you know the little porch area, the step, the stoop. That's the word I'm looking for. The stoop. Just sweeping up the stoop. You could approach if you wish. It's a gentleman, a butler, apparently, from a neighboring house.
Everyone's muted.
Yeah, I know. Anybody?
I think I would quickly confer with my new companions here to see who's most eligible to fraternize with the help.
Is it we are seeking to find out, sir?
Perhaps who the other servants are and where they may be found. I'm somewhat better at ordering people about, not so much.
Well, I've
Getting
never
the
been known
gossip.
for my charm, but if you'd like me to beat the information out of him, I perhaps could do so.
Whoa.
We could leave that to step 2, perhaps, and I'll slide
Very
my
good, sir.
glance over to Gerard. Sir, you are well acquainted with eliciting music from a violin. Perhaps this is somewhat similar.
You wanted me to do what now? I'm sorry, I was sidetracked. Go ahead.
There's a servant of a neighbor over there. Perhaps they will also be acquainted with the other servants of Mr. John Bidwell and may know where to find them.
Okay. And what were you saying about the violin?
Well, you, sir, being a master of the strings, may know how to get the music flowing, I guess. Get them to
No,
talk. Get them to tell you all they know.
I'd like to give it a try. So I guess I'll walk over there.
Okay, sure. He'll see you approaching. Say, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Uh, quite well, sir. What can I do for you?
Hi. You work here for Mr. What's his name again? Now the guy that
No,
died.
no, this is at a neighbor's house.
Yeah, but what's the guy's?
Bidwell is the gentleman next door.
Bidwell.
Yeah, there.
Did you happen to work for Mr. Bidwell? last night?
No, sir. I'm employed by Mrs. Holloway here.
Mrs. Holloway. Okay, okay. I thought he might have imported some help from the neighborhood. For he had a party last night that I attended to, and
Yes, I believe
asked,
he uses an agency, sir.
uh, do you happen to know what agency that is? I hate to bother you, but I lost a heirloom from that my grandmother gave me on my 18th
No,
birthday.
I'm afraid I don't know for sure. I do know that he had quite a few people coming and going last night. A lot of cleaners and waiters and such. Plenty of drivers hanging around the place all night. The police have been around all day today. I understand there was some kind of foul play.
Oh, really?
It would seem
Oh,
so.
so there was people here all night long? I mean, I left pretty late myself and thought it was over with, so I missed something, huh?
Well past midnight at least.
Ah,
I
you
don't
say all
stay up
night
much.
long.
I don't stay up much later than that myself.
Uh,
I try not to even stay up that late if I can help it, sir. You say you were at
yeah,
the
well,
party,
yes, I was. I was
uh,
invited. Was
and
fortunate I
the
had
help left
friends.
some impression upon you, then, sir.
Yeah, the help was very well. It's just that I was wanting to ask anybody if they had found this or to at least help me try to find it if they well it hadn't been found yet.
I
So
wish I could help you, sir. It sounds like it might be a fine agency to work for, and one never knows when one may need to seek new employment opportunities.
that's true. That's true. What was your name again, sir?
My name is Benson, sir.
Vincent. Glad to meet you, Vincent. And, have a great evening. What's left of it anyway.
Yourself as well, sir.
Yeah, I'll go back and let him know what he told me, which was not much, but there was a lot of people coming and going after we left.
No, he didn't say that. He said until at least midnight, until you left well after midnight.
Hmm. Said they used an agency for workers.
Yeah, that's what he said. They used
Servants.
the agency.
Well,
He did not know the name of the agency. Charm. I had charm. I should have used charm mine. I had 78 charm. Oh well.
hmm. And drivers coming and going. Well, if we can find the name of this agency, that perhaps it's written in an accounts book inside. We should await uh, Mr. Carmichael's return. Perhaps he will have some information also, and the more the merrier. I think the colder the guard grows in this weather, and I'll probably rub my hands at that and thrust them deeper in my pockets.
Hmm.
Um, are we just like standing out like dog's balls here on the side of the road? Or
I
what's
guess
happening?
so, kind of, yeah, at the moment. And it's approaching 5 o'clock, and still no sign of Master Von Zorn.
Um, so I guess Ruben would have told us about roughly how long he was going to be.
Well, you figure it's a half hour each way, so he's going to be gone over an hour.
Well, let's find somewhere warmer for the time being.
Yes, you want to look for maybe I don't know, maybe a bar or something nearby, or a restaurant or
Yeah,
something.
and
It
then
is about dinner
come.
time.
Yeah, go for dinner, and then come back in time to catch up with Ruben. Unless you guys want to do something else, like do. I'm not quite sure how you operate, but of course uh, we could investigate ourselves, but perhaps it's better to await Ruben.
Anybody? No? All right, I'm going to guess you're going to wait then. So you guys can slip over and get some dinner. Ruben, you get back to the agency just after 5 o'clock,
Indeed.
and of course Markham will be there and will greet you. And yeah, you can wait to see if Parlo comes by. He does. He comes by at about 20 minutes to 6, maybe about 5:40.
Very good.
So Markham will announce him, and in will walk. Let me find it here. It's not this one. In shall walk Sergeant Parlow. Oops. It'd help if I look in the right game folder. Sergeant Parlow looks like. This campaign's gotten so big, I've got so many images. Now, okay, let's see if we can make that visible and put it above the house. Yes, there we go. There's Sergeant Parlow. Right. So Sergeant Parlow comes by. He's announced by Markham, and he comes in. And of course, Markham offers him brandy and a cigar, and he is happy to partake whenever he comes by the Hudson and Brand offices of your fine brandy and your cigars.
Sergeant Parlow, well met, sir. How do we find you today?
Well enough, Reuben. It's been some time. Staying out of trouble, I hope.
Indeed, and that we have not crossed paths is a shame on the social level, but a good thing, mind you, that nothing official has come between us.
Of course. How may I be of service to Hudson and Brand today?
Well, sir, we have been tasked with some information gathering, as I'm sure I'm sure that your policemen have also been done so, but perhaps something on the side that you may not have been able to find. So, and we'd be happy to share. But we have a client looking into the John Bidwell death.
Ah, I see. A client, you say?
Indeed,
I
yeah.
know. I've heard a bit of it. It's supposed to be a grisly matter. Uh, a
Something
disgruntled
about a.
servant, perhaps.
That's the gist we got from the yard when they came to speak to us. Is something of a hot poker to the chest, I believe.
Yes, there's a bit of a manhunt on for the man right now. Let me think. Hanson Bartlett was the name.
Indeed, the handsome butler, Bartlett, correct.
They're looking for him currently. Yes.
Is was just curious if there was maybe something else that we could use to find on the more social side of it. I understand there were a lot of guests at the party that ended up having some items missing, and that's part of what we're looking for. Is
Oh, I had not heard that actually. I heard quite the
I, I,
opposite.
I would imagine it was a bit of the hush hush. Don't want to pass along any more derogatory rumor mills type things for the family. They've got enough going on. But yes, apparently there was some notes of pocket watches and other sort of pins and brooches and such.
These were taken during the party, you say?
Oh, well, that's the gist of it. Yes,
Which was before the murder.
indeed.
I see. Give me a fast talk roll.
Ooh, fast talk, something that
See,
he's not great at.
yeah, just want to see if he believes you or not, since you're totally bullshitting him.
Well, yes, that is his way. Stand by. I don't think it's going to be good enough. It's a 30. Let me check with the old fast talk. And fast talk is no, it's not good enough. But
Do you want to spend luck?
I do not want to spend luck, but I will have opera tickets on hand.
Okay.
And he will dissuade the obvious flighty eyes that Sergeant Parlow is making. And Sergeant, I just wanted to pass this along. I know Christmas is coming for you and a significant other. The opera, I understand, is quite the event this season, and he's going to slide him the opera tickets.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you very kindly. You don't wish to take Mrs. Forby? He smiles.
Well, I have already tickets for her as well. Perhaps we can make an event of it. We could double date, as it were.
I see. Well, of course. Perhaps if I will let you know if I find one.
Indeed, Sergeant. If and when you hear anything that may come of interest, please let us know, and I will assuredly let you know if there's anything that may assist you in an official manner.
Of course, I see young Albie and his birds about all the time. I know how to get a message to you if I need to.
Indeed,
If I
and
hear
Sergeant,
anything about the location of this Bartlett, I will let you know.
Sergeant, you'll notice that Albie and a few of the others will have a little black pin as this, and he's gonna hand him the black pin. And if you would wear this under your collar or have it on hand, if you show this to them, they'll know that you're in our confidence and that they would most likely be forthcoming with any special information that they may have while they're on the street, so that you may take use of my little ravens, as they are now known. He made several others for himself and
Hmm.
other in confidence. And
I
if
see.
they see that, you'll put them at ease, and perhaps they could be of assistance. I'm working hard to bootstrap these young lads up. Perhaps we
Well,
can get a few of them into quality enough to be considered for the police department at
under
some point.
ordinary circumstances, I would find all of this clandestine skullduggery to be bizarre at least and super suspicious at most. However, I am well familiar with the oddity of your business, so thank you very much for this, Mr. Carmichael. He
Yes, sir.
takes it
I
and
hadn't,
slips
I
it in a
hadn't,
pocket.
I had, I hadn't considered it that way. But yes, I do see your point. We do tend to sit on the fence, as it were. But I promise you, all of this is on the up and up. I've moved the young boy's mother and him into the school. We have a proper teacher. They're getting an education, and we're getting them off the street.
Oh,
And
you needn't explain yourself to me, Mr. Carmichael. I understand completely. I can see how well Albie and his boys have been doing ever since they started working with you and Master Von Zorn. So uh, I can assure you, your character is not in question.
well, thank you very much, Sergeant.
Very well. Thank you for the brandy. I'll smoke the cigar later at home. You don't mind, do you? He pockets it.
Of course not, and please partake of another one for another time.
Oh well, if you insist. He takes another one, sticks it also in his pocket. Very well. Well, I must be running along then. If there's nothing else you need, I need to sort some dinner for myself. I'm absolutely famished.
Absolutely, Sergeant. If you find yourself in need of dinner at the moment, I'm sure we Markham and we could whip something up
No,
for
no,
you.
I don't wish to trouble Markham. And besides, I think I'll try to find myself a steak dinner somewhere. Perhaps treat myself. It's almost Christmas, you know.
Indeed, sir. We will be having a something of a gathering, so I will ensure to get you the invitation if you had not already received it.
Of course. Well, thank you very much. Please extend um, my greetings to your partner.
Indeed, I will.
And he will excuse himself then, say a pleasant goodbye to Markham as well, and then he shall depart.
Damn his luck. He's good with stuff, not so much with people.
Yeah, well,
That is what it is.
you got a good reputation with this guy anyway. I don't think you didn't really do much harm in it, you know.
Yeah, just confirm the fact that he's a bit shifty.
Yeah, well, he's not surprised. Like I said, he's well familiar with the supernatural nature of your business too, so he's witnessed it firsthand a couple of times.
Okay, based upon the time, and we have no context, and I haven't heard anything from the Ravens or the others. Uh,
And by this point in time, it's your friends, if they're still there, have been standing out on the street corner for the last 2 hours
Indeed.
in St. John's Wood.
Oh, we went for dinner, didn't
I
we?
know you have been. I'm just saying to him, as far as he knows, you know,
Yeah.
he left you guys there over an hour ago, an hour and a half ago,
Yeah,
nearly. So,
they're competent adults. I'm sure they can handle it.
okay.
Next to
So,
some frozen crows.
Obviously, I had problem with this before because I just noticed, Quentin, that I've got August Breckenridge Doncaster written down in full right here on my initiative sheet. So obviously, I had forgotten the surname in the past.
Dunhampton, sir.
Why do I have Doncaster? Maybe I did that on purpose just to fuck with you.
Very dumb.
Dunhampton.
Does August appear to be wealthy?
Oh, does he? Augie, are you an upper class gentleman or more of a middle class gentleman? Or
Um, he's upper class, perhaps a bit more rough around the edges.
What's your credit rating, sir?
Oh, down to brass tacks. 50.
50. Woof. Woof.
yeah, he's wealthy.
That's up there.
50. Wow.
Mhm.
It's off the
That
chart.
makes him, I think, currently the highest credit rating in the agency, of course, except for Master Von Zorn, maybe. But yeah.
But you do understand it's caught up in assets and the like. And legal
Isn't it
wrangling.
always? Isn't it always?
I
So
was going to buy dinner because I thought maybe he was just a regular bloke that, had a little money, but yeah, you can buy the
Puts on
dinner.
airs.
Just
Yeah.
a hired
I'll
gun.
Gerard
I'll put it on the account.
Gerard started the campaign off with a single-digit credit rating. He's made a pretty decent bit of scratch for himself, though, over the last couple of years.
Indeed.
So, are you heading back to St. John's Wood then, Ruben?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool. So you'll get back there about 6:30. By that point in time, it's a couple of hours since sunset. So, and the others will have finished their dinner and everything. Once you have your bit of dinner and drinks, I don't mean drinks like pounding down bevies or anything of that sort, but just an after dinner drink or drink with dinner, etc. Do you go back out, or do you wait in the restaurant?
No, well, he won't know to find us at the restaurant. And we couldn't see any of the crows to leave a message with them, so
That's true.
I guess we'll have to go back out.
Okay, cool. So when you do, the carriage will eventually come shortly after you guys return to the street. The carriage will pull up once again, and you'll see Albert driving, and Reuben will step out, and you are reunited. And now it is 6:30 in the evening, and there's been no sign of Wilhelm at all. He's 2.5 hours
Gentlemen.
late. Now Wilhelm is a lot of things, but um, a time waster or a late individual is not one of the things that he is. So
Punctual.
yes,
He's a military man.
Gentlemen, what of Von Zorn?
I had hoped you would have found him back at the agency. He has not appeared. Perhaps you can ask your crows if he came while we slipped away to warm ourselves.
Well, Reuben will take a look around to see if the crows have made their appearance or are on his way in. In fact, in that respect, if I can retcon for a second, I would have had the driver take a different path in. That maybe we catch a different opportunity to catch the crows or his other birds
give me a
running
spot hidden.
about. Spot hidden, as it were, sir. 1 second. A 30 this time, and his spot hidden is a 61. So a 30 is exactly what he needed
Yes.
for a hard success.
Yep, you did spot one this time. You know where he is.
Okay, so when he passes by, he'll stick his head out and give him the old thumb on the nose and see if he gets it back.
Okay, sure. Yeah. There you go.
right. Well, if he didn't give him the alarm, he's going to carry on.
Yep. So then the conversation we just had happens.
Indeed.
And now what? Bidwell's house is still there, still dark,
Yeah.
still one police officer standing outside the front door.
No, neither the birds nor the crows found anything or saw anything.
Hmm.
There's been a half a dozen of them up and down the streets. Did you not see them?
Oh yes, yes, we've seen them. We just returned ourselves. So, it is quite worrisome that a punctual cavalryman like Zorn has not appeared.
Indeed.
So far, we held back from investigating further to your return to see what you learned from your police contact.
Right. Mr. Gerard Belgrave and Augie, I have something here. And he's going to give them the business cards that he had made for Hudson and Brand with their names, consultant, and on Belgrave, it was, I believe, what did we go with? Anyway, the business cards all around, and he's gotten an agent card for Augie to use as a point of reference if he needed to hand it out.
Cool. It's got the phone number and address for the agency, everything on it. Yep.
Exactly.
Do you have a phone, actually?
If it's the appropriate time, then yes, of course.
Yeah, you probably. Von Zorn was rich. Yeah, you probably have a phone.
What year is it?
1890. 1891, sorry. Phones were rare. Maybe you don't have a phone. No, let's say you don't. Just a local telegraph office. Maybe something like that instead. That makes more sense.
We, from one of the neighbors, the neighbor's help, informed us that for the party, he enlisted the help of an agency for the workers and the servants. But we have not yet found out the name of that agency. Perhaps it is inscribed in some ledger within. The sort of information perhaps that the police would possess already.
Indeed.
And there is no guard upon the servants' entrance, though perhaps a stout lock.
Unfortunately, we would have to have some sort of light, and the light would be conspicuous in the dark, as noted with the guard there. Find ourselves at an impasse.
Well, perhaps if someone was to engage the guard in conversation with a bit of
distraction.
Yeah, some hearty beverage to ward away the chill.
I was going to suggest probably your best bet would be either a distraction or a bluff.
I was thinking of fire. A small fire. Get his attention.
Jesus
London
Christ.
second fire.
Yeah.
Fucking murder hobo much there, Ruben?
I was thinking of a garbage can or something, not a house.
Maybe you could get your little friends to get into a little fake fight, and the gentleman at the door would come out and run him off or whatever, or have him throw a snowball at him, a mud ball, whatever it takes to get him away from him.
That is a thought.
Not enough snow right now for snowballs, but yeah.
Sure.
It's currently just kind of gray and wet and miserable. No snow on the ground.
Well, we can distract the guard, but you'll need to find some way to enter through the door. We didn't test the door, but I assume it will be locked. And
How's our? Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't mean to cast aspersions on your young, bootstrapped birds, as it were, but perhaps one of them is acquainted with the opening of ways.
Indeed. I think not, though. I know my way around the lock. Perhaps we could. What does the night look like? If we got a full moon, is it well lit with the neighborhood around it?
That's the moon. That's a good question. Let me pull up my calendar. Let's see, bookmarks. Hudson and Brand. Thought I had one of these. Did I have a folder for Hudson and Brand?
Such research. Impressive.
I thought I. Oh yeah, Call of Cthulhu. No, I don't have one of those there.
Okay, my research popped up with the brightest night in 10 years.
What? December 13th? Yeah, right.
What are the chances?
Calendar.
Almost as if daylight.
Moon calendar is what I want. Right, here we go. 1891 in the United Kingdom. So, December. Oh, actually, it'll be. Let me double check this. Yeah, it'll be a full moon in 2 days. So, it's nearly full. However, it is foggy and rather cloudy. So, why do you ask?
Is it a settling fog? So perhaps we can get some light on the second floor.
Well, when you were there at the party, did you see heavy drapes or curtains on most windows? It is winter after all.
Yeah,
Perhaps
definitely.
some will be shuttered.
Definitely. Your best bet
Indeed.
would be to use your use a lantern inside. Oh, so
Indeed,
you
agreed.
have one.
A shaky, sputtering candle.
So let's establish somebody to be out by the guard in case to set up a distraction. We'll set up a chain of eyes and ears to get us to the back, and I will try the back door.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I would probably have a hip flask of brandy or some such, so I can engage him in conversation. I don't know how long for though.
You're gonna try to distract him.
I would also offer that Gerard is a very charming individual with a violin. Could be quite distracting.
I've already met
he
him.
didn't bring a violin with him, did he?
No.
Or did he? Maybe he did.
No. No. He already has met the guy, and it'd be kind of suspicious for him to keep coming back to the guy.
Indeed.
Well, you'll need someone on the back door keeping watch anyway.
Will do.
And probably best to have two people inside.
Okay. So is that the plan then? August, you're gonna try to distract the guard. Gerard watches the back door while Belgrave and Reuben rifle about inside.
Yeah, and we've got the crows or the birds as a general frozen surveillance system.
Yeah, as it is. Yeah, they're observing the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. No problem. All right. So you're up, August, I think, for the distraction.
Well, I'll probably catch the carriage and we've still got the driver there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Albert Stafford.
Yeah, so I'll probably get dropped off a little down from, because it'd be weird me just walking the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get dropped off just down from the seat, the house, and then stroll down towards the policeman, and I thought you must have been a somewhat chilly butler, but I find a policeman at the Bidwell household. What goes here, sir?
Well, there's no one home, sir. The house is closed pending investigation by Scotland Yard.
Uh, well, this is quite alarming. I hope Mr. Bidwell is in health.
What social skill do you want to use to try to get this guy over on your in your good graces or on your side, as it were? Get yourself into his good graces, I suppose. Yeah.
It's a very good question.
You could charm or fast talk. I don't think you're trying to intimidate him. And persuade takes a while of talking. Well, of course, if you talk to him for a while, you could try to pull persuade as well. Usually, persuade takes about 10 minutes. It says in the rules. So.
Well, I say, sir, that you give me a full accounting of everything that has transpired here.
So you're going for the intimidate route.
Yeah.
You can pull the whole "I'm of a higher class than you" kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
it's my best option.
Makes sense. Go for it. You tell him exactly who you are and your station, whatever.
03. So
Wow.
that's good.
Oh yes. Well, Mr. Dunhampton. I mean, no offense. But it's been a case of murder. I'm afraid your friend, Mr. Bidwell, is dead.
What? This is an outrage. How did this happen?
I don't know all of the details, sir. I've just been posted to guard the door, but from what I understand, he was stabbed to death with a fireplace poker.
I'll tap my foot and look furious and say, "That is not dead, sir. That is murder."
Yes, I told you it was a murder case.
And
Sorry.
and what is Scotland Yard doing about it?
Well, they're investigating, of course, sir. There's
And they
already
have
a
their best
manhunt
men.
on for the primary suspect. Yes, the best men are on the case, sir. That's why I'm here.
I see. And your name, sir?
Constable, what will be his name? Constable Blunt, sir.
Blunt. Well, this is truly alarming. And of course, you are able to tell me what information has already become public knowledge. I basically want to grill him for as much information as I can. And I'll say, I find myself very put out by this, sir. I have sent my driver on. He shall not return for a good 15 minutes or so. And I expect in that time you will relay to me what it is that you know of this investigation, so I do not need to take this further up to your superiors.
Well, I'll do the best that I can, sir. And he'll start sputtering on what little bit he does know. He doesn't really know too much, but
Yeah, that's all right. I'm just playing for time.
Yep.
And I'll bring
Absolutely.
the flask to bear if I need to put him at
Sure.
ease a little.
He does not take it because he's afraid you're trying to set him up. He's intimidated. He's afraid that if he does drink from the flask, that you'll then report him to his superiors and get him fired, or at least
Good man.
reprimanded.
Good man.
So, yes, John, you still need that bio break? I don't think.
Yes,
John's
sir.
here.
Real quick. Yeah. UPS at the door.
Let's take a quick bio break, and then we can go with what happens in the house while Augie is talking to the officer out front. So, bio break, maybe 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Christmas time. I suppose there'll be a lot of UPS breaks going on.
Yeah, it's amazing the way the postal system has kind of been revived by internet shopping.
Yeah, big time.
Constant Amazon deliveries too. I mean, the
Oh
little
yeah, the
trucks they got.
drones.
Yeah, well, they got little trucks, like little vans they drive around now around this area. So you can get something in one day. If you order it that day, you can get it by that night. So kind of nice.
Yeah. Um, aren't they're working on their drone blimps and stuff, hovering over the city.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
that
not.
stuff. It's quite crazy, isn't it?
It's pretty Blade Runner. Right. How long did you want to have a bio for?
Like 5-10 minutes.
5
Why
or...
you want to go smoke or something?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Super. Okay.
We won't start without you. Just grabbing myself a little snack while I'm at it. Oh, I do have rice. Yes, okay, good.
You there, Ian?
I am now.
As am I.
I've just come back from the kitchen.
I'm here.
So, is there any possibility? Like, do you play a different game next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Oh, Saturday. Sorry to be for you guys, wouldn't it?
Oh, next Saturday. Do I have a game next Saturday? I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure I do. What day is
Okay.
next Saturday?
Is that the
Um.
moon one?
Yes, it is. It's
Moon
Moonglow.
glow.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's all right.
Jeez, I'm looking at Saturday the 26th. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm looking at the 1891 calendar.
Nice.
I'm like, what the hell? Yes, next Saturday. Yes, next Saturday is Moonglow.
Cool. I'll just open up my schedule in a fortnight.
You got something going on in 2 weeks, do you?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of that. I've just double booked myself, but I can I'll just cancel the other game.
All right, let's see. Now, we can bring this back on. So we are back from our bio break. I will be switching my display just because I'm going to be eating a little bit here while we play, and I don't want to. Don't really want to do so on camera. Okay, so if I make that visible, and oops, I need to unlock it so I can move it. It also helps if I try to click on the correct screen instead of the screen that I'm currently on. Yeah, something like that. That looks pretty good. What else do I have on here? No, he won't be any help.
Can you share it full screen?
Yeah, I can do that this way. That'll work better. Good call. Okay, so back around the back door. Well, Augie's doing a very good job of intimidating the poor constable at the front door and distracting him. So you go up to the servants' entrance at the back, which leads into the kitchen. And you said you know your way around locks, Ruben. Yes. Now is your chance to prove it. Are you there, John?
Opportunities being what they are, being a properly trained and a legitimate mundane locksmith and not some clandestine backdoor man, of course.
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night, buddy. Why don't you give me a roll on that locksmith skill?
Okay.
Do you have any tools?
I would leave that up to you. His skill level is high enough that one would assume it would be something he would carry with him
I would
without.
think so too. So
Yeah, I would say
sounds good to me.
yes. Do we roll with advantage with tools?
Like any good traveling locksmith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll let you roll it with a bonus die.
Fair enough. Alrighty, my two tens that I'm rolling. The first one is a 7, and the other is a 1. So my second number is a 9, so 19.
So 19.
He has a proper locksmith, not lock picking, of 60. So a 12 would have been an extreme success, so he's in the hard success range.
No, that's fair enough. That's, even a regular success would be good enough. Yep, you hear the satisfying click clack as you smith the lock, and the back door opens out.
Very
And
good.
you're looking into the kitchen. So, the house is cold and dark.
Clarence was with him, correct? Belgrave?
Belgrave and Gerard are both with you because Gerard's going to keep a watch out on the back door.
Yes, gentlemen.
I do believe, unless you want to do it differently.
No, gentlemen. It's good to fall back on these mundane skills. I was trained as a locksmith early on in life. Anyway, moving on.
So in the kitchen, looking in, oops, let me get to the right page. You will see, you'll see just piles. Well, actually, more so in the scullery than the kitchen. But the scullery is right next to the kitchen, right? So, anyway, when you open it up in the kitchen, you definitely get the lingering smell of tobacco smoke from the party the night before.
Gross.
The house itself is cold and dark. If assuming you're going in, you will notice that in the scullery, soiled serving trays and champagne glasses stand in piles. Cases of empty champagne bottles and trays of stale hors d'oeuvres. Those clutter the kitchen, right? So in the kitchen, the first thing you see, is the cases of empty champagne bottles, trays of stale hors d'oeuvres. Yeah, and in the scullery is where the glasses and the serving trays are all stacked up. So it would appear that the charwomen have not been allowed back into the property yet.
Well, we will use the light from the open back door to see if we can find or if there's any creeping light, some sort of lantern.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't bring a lantern?
I
would think
I
you would
assumed
have.
it was I know my man Belgrave would have brought it. I bring my tools, he brings his.
Belgrave, you have a lantern? Merrick, you there?
Oh yes.
Jeez, I could not find the dang window. I accidentally minimized it rather than like flying around my screen. Because once you minimize it, you don't even get the button on your hotbar. Okay, so no, I didn't think to bring a lantern because I didn't know that we would be breaking into the house.
Fair enough. Well, as luck would have it, there is a lantern in the kind of hanging on the wall on the opposite side of the pantry, kind of near the hallway.
And then one assumed candles and such would be about.
Yeah, more than likely, I'm sure. So you can work up some light source.
So Belgrave's going with me, and we're leaving a backdoor man to observe the other.
Yeah, it would seem that your backdoor man is Gerard.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, very good. Belgrave, shall we? Not particularly sure what we're looking for, but let's take a look, shall we?
Sure. You have the map, right? Or do you need me to send that again to the chat?
Nope. We got the map.
Okay. What do you want to look for? Where do you want to search?
Well, we've already discussed the scullery, so there's no need to discuss that any further. We'll step out from there and go always to the left, I guess.
Okay.
Stand
the
by.
Laundry room.
Right.
And then you would find Hanson Bartlett's room, which is the butler.
Well, that seems like a good start right there.
Nothing appears out of the ordinary in Bartlett's quarters, though. Give me an idea roll. You and Belgrave both can make it. So that's your intelligence. Idea is always based off of your intelligence.
Yikes.
No is based off of your education.
Got a 72. Let me see if that even means anything.
It's a normal success for me.
That's a normal success for him. He's got an 80.
Okay, so you both would notice that although nothing really appears out of the ordinary in his room, his coat is still hanging on the hook inside the door.
I was going to check for luggage to see maybe if he had his gentleman's suitcase. The butler would have at least one suitcase.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still in place. And like I said, even his coat is still hanging on the hook. And it was a cold and damp night.
Is this an age when they started fingerprinting and whatnot?
No.
Okay, so I was just if it's like something common, people would know that people would at least check for fingerprints and whatnot. Okay, so I start gently opening and closing dresser drawers to look for anything that looks like it's been like hastily gone through.
Not at all. Everything's in order.
Well, that does not make any sense then. If he was on a run and in a hurry, I'm
May
sure he would
think,
have some effect that he would want to look for. And bring with him.
I know it's not on the map. It would be a small thing that probably wouldn't be noted, but is there a dumbwaiter in the kitchen area?
No, I don't think so, because that would just go up to the upstairs servant's bedroom. Yeah.
Or it might lead down to a basement. That's what I was looking at.
No.
Hmm.
There are stairs that lead up.
So we don't find anything in that immediate area for a down.
No. Nope. No sign of a down.
Most curious. So, well, Scotland Yard's already been through here. They're still searching for the man, so obviously they didn't find him. So if he's still on the property, alive or dead, it's going to be somewhere that they would not have looked. So, with that in mind, let's check the linen and see if perhaps he's at the bottom of a laundry hamper.
Very good, sir. I'll go into the laundry room. Or, well, we only got the one lantern.
Yeah, we're both going. We'll both stay
Right,
together.
head in there.
Yeah, you can search through the linen and search the hampers, but no, there's nobody hidden there.
Is there even a basement in this house?
I don't believe so.
No.
There would have been an access in this immediate area.
Right.
And
you're not
going to
go from the ballroom
from outside either. So.
Most curious. Most curious indeed. So, bearing the opportunity to stuff somebody under the floorboards or in a crawl space, as it were, I have heard of homes having hidden walkways and compartments and such.
Indeed. There was even one such hidden compartment in the wall in the house on the last case you were on.
Indeed.
In the Forby house.
Do we know where the murder took place?
That was
not where the body was found.
I don't have that information. We could just search until we find a bloody section, but one assumes it's going to be near one of the fireplaces. So let's just
suggest then we check for his study or his bedroom. Or
well,
his bedroom.
Give me an idea roll again.
42.
Normal.
Made it normal.
Okay, so yeah, so of course his bedroom would probably be a good place to look. That would most likely be upstairs. And the last place you saw him alive, Reuben, last night, was in the library where the seance took place.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Is en route to the library, we hit the main rooms en route, the dining room and the parlor and the ballroom and such. But we'll give those cursory looks on our way up, minding any open windows to guard the light.
I'm going to point to the opposite side of the kitchen and say there is a stair up in the corner of the kitchen here, sir. I don't know if we want to go flashing this light around the front of the house all that much.
Good call, Belgrave.
Do I hear them in the kitchen?
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, I guess so, if you want to, yeah.
Okay, do you mind if I pop in and give you an idea?
Please.
Okay, I'll slowly open it up. I've been sitting here thinking, check up the chimney of his study. Maybe the body was shoved up there. Because there's no firework, there's no fire running at all today, even with the police in there in the cold house, you know.
Oh.
So it doesn't hurt. I'm going to be out here watching. So.
Good call, my man. Do we have a listing for the fireplace on here, or we just assume?
No, however, let me just double check to make sure I've got this right. I believe there's a fireplace in the library.
Well, then,
Yeah.
I wonder if it might be part of the ballroom, the fireplace going from the first to the second floor, ground floor to first floor. Anyway,
Okay.
let's take that that staircase idea before we go traipsing through the whole house and get upstairs to the room.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Um,
So now we're on the first deck.
okay. So you're going upstairs. Yep. You will pop out there in. Sorry, I keep switching between different things. So you come up there in that little hallway. At the end, there's storage, linen, water closet. There's a trapdoor that leads to the attic.
Attic.
And
I
then
want
there's
to
guest rooms, etc. You know,
observe
see
the
them.
floors too. Look for the because I can't imagine the police were kind enough to clean their feet as they came in. So look for like where the most traffic would be on the
Definitely
ground.
leading down the hallway towards where the towards the front of the house on the second floor here, or first floor.
Belgrave, I'd like to come back to this trap door here once
Indeed.
we've checked out the library and his bedroom.
I'll pop open the storage closet or the linen closet there and look for the hook for the ladder for the pantry or for the
Yeah,
attic, and
you
if
find
not
it
in
there.
there, okay,
It's there.
and then I'll just note where it's at and then continue down the hall.
Okay. So the most traffic does seem to be in and out of the library.
Library it is then.
Very good, sir. And step in.
Okay. Yeah, you can see, easily tell when you walk in there that this is where the murder took place. There's still like blood stains on the, on the floor and stuff. So you can definitely see where the murder took place. It looks like it took place right by the table where the seance took place last night. So either he just didn't move very far, or he just stayed, kind of returned to the same area, or the murder took place shortly after you departed him, Ruben.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at that that fireplace.
Yeah, you look in there and kind of poke around. It does not seem to be obstructed. You can feel the cold air passing through, and yeah.
Is there a tool missing? You get the brush and the shovel and the poker.
Yeah, the poker would be missing.
Okay.
The police would have taken it.
Of course.
Indeed.
Take a look around the room and see if there's anything that might pass for an inconspicuous yet conspicuous panel that one might put as a secret panel.
Well, there is a doorway to the den, of course.
Yep, I was going to walk into there and take a look around.
And also, yeah, do you want to look over the contents of the library at all?
Yeah, he's taking a look at the library as a whole and to see if perhaps there's a double line, like when you're looking at the bookcases, maybe it has a double wall on the sides to indicate that it could be a shifting door kind of thing.
Sure, you can give me a library use roll.
Ooh, library use, something. He actually has something good.
While Belgrave walks into the den.
Stand by.
You can give me a spot hidden roll, Belgrave.
Ooh, 22. I don't know what his number is in library, but let's see. Library is, survey said, oh, he's got a 66. So a 22 is a hard success.
You will find Bidwell's journals. There's hundreds of volumes of works on history, science, the occult, but you find some fine leather-bound books that seem to be a daily log of Bidwell's life.
Are they in it? Are they on the shelves, or have they been set out as if and opened and read? How many volumes are we looking at?
It doesn't say how many. Probably lots, since it's a life journal. But probably. I mean, give me an idea roll.
Mike.
How'd you
75.
do on a spot hidden roll there?
Oh, I didn't quite hear what you said, so I'll roll it.
Yep.
Got an 18, which is just a hard success.
Nice. So, Ruben, the idea crosses your mind that probably the most interesting stuff would be in the final ledger of his journal, the most recent stuff. You don't need to read through his entire life story, right?
No.
Right
I
now?
was looking at keeping the occult stuff.
Mhm.
If there's a couple volumes of occult, he'll grab those, and he'll grab the last 2 journals.
Okay. And you made that spot hidden roll as well, hard success, Belger. So in the den, you do find an interesting photograph on the wall. It shows Bidwell standing beside a boy. The youth is small, thin, and pale, while Bidwell himself is tanned and healthy looking. Both are wearing shorts and short-sleeved shirts.
Scandalous.
And all around them is desert. In one hand, Bidwell is holding a clear cube about 4 inches square. His other hand is around the other arm is around the boy's shoulders. Both are smiling toothy grins, and on the back of the photograph is scrawled, "With Mortimer, Concudgery, 30th October 1887." Give me a knowledge roll, basically education.
Mr. Carmichael, I'll call him in.
Okay.
Indeed.
And let's see here. Education, not great. Nope, I failed that.
Okay.
What? One needs a roll of education, you say?
Yeah, if you wish. Yep.
Well, he did terrible. Got a 78. Let me see what his education is.
Wow.
It is an 83, so it's okay.
That's past still. Okay. Yeah, Concudgery is in Australia.
Nice. The outback of Australia.
What is this cube he's holding?
That cube,
Indeed.
looking at that picture, Ruben.
Yes.
Although the photograph isn't clear enough to make out like fine details, but it does look to be the same cube that you saw him bring out at the seance yesterday.
That is exactly what I was going to note. This looks to be the cube from the seance. Very curious indeed.
Now, outside. Augie, please give me a listen roll and a spot hidden roll. In fact, just roll once and compare it to both listen and spot hidden.
Okay, and it's a 53, which doesn't bode well. Listen is 30, so fail. Spot hidden is 50. But I'll burn 3 luck.
Yeah, you can burn 3 luck to turn that into a success. Okay, so as you're, this guy is just trying to tell you what little he doesn't know about the case, because he ran out of things to tell you 10 minutes ago, but you've still been keeping him busy. A man is approaching behind you. Catches out the corner of your eyes. You'll see somebody walking up. You don't hear him coming, but you see somebody approaching.
Yeah. Hoping that it's perhaps his friend Wilhelm von Zorn, I'll turn about to see if I can recognize the man.
The man is rather nondescript, grim-looking, and stoutly built. Give me an education roll, a knowledge roll.
Intelligence or
Nope,
education.
Education, yeah.
Yeah, that's a success. 76 under 79, just a standard.
You recognize this man. You've seen him before. You don't know who he is, but you've seen him at the lodge. He steps up and says, "What's all this then?" At which point, Constable, what did I say, Blount Yeah, Constable Blunt stands kind of almost. Nothing, sir. I was simply informing this friend of Mr. Bidwell's what I know about his demise. I see.
Good
So
eve-
you were posted here by the yard to share personal details of this pending case with anybody who stumbles along and claims to be a friend of Mr. Bidwell's. Is that the case, Constable Blunt? No, no, detective, sir. No, no. Of course not, sir.
If I may, sir, my name is August Breckenridge Dunhampton, and I'll extend a hand and do the famous um, lodge handshake.
And he gives you the shake and gives you a knowing look and says, "Yes, I'll get to you in a moment, Mr. Dunhampton. In the meantime, since you're so lax in your duty here, guarding the entrance to the Bidwell home, why don't you make yourself useful and fetch me a cup of hot coffee, Constable Blunt?" At which point, Constable Blunt says, bumbles and says, "Yes, sir. Yes, yes, right away, sir." And I'm very sorry, sir. And he stumbles and runs off down the street to try to find a place to get a hot cup of coffee, which might not be easy at this time, and you know, but might keep him busy for a few minutes. At this point, the gentleman will say, "I am sorry about that, but one must keep up appearances. I'm Detective Sergeant James Mulverhill. God, I can't speak. I'm Detective Sergeant James Mulverhill, Scotland Yard CID. He'll show you his credentials, and you'll also notice he makes it quite plain that there's a revolver bulging out of his coat pocket as he does so.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing here, Mr. Dunhampton?"
Well, sir, when something like this happens and a fellow traveler is murdered in such suspicious circumstance, I believe it is a problem for us all.
I see. Hmm. How many?
Sir?
How many of your friends are skulking about inside while you distract my constable here?
Well, I'm. Um, is there any way I can tell what the possible repercussions of admitting this are?
Yeah, give me an idea roll.
Or psychology or something? Oh, actually, no, I've got really shit
Oh,
psychology.
psychology. You just trying to see if he's gonna actually bust you.
90, 95,
Oh,
so it's a fail anyway.
oh, you don't know,
Whatever.
jail maybe, interfering in a murder investigation, breaking and entering, aiding and abetting. Who knows? You know.
Well, sir, that all depends on who's asking. I could possibly take offense at that accusation. And I'll just raise my eyebrows as if
He says,
uh,
as a detective sergeant of Scotland Yard, frankly, I wouldn't care how you took it. However, as a friend, I will allow you to go into the home, get your friends, and leave quietly out the back before my constable returns. And please tell them it's not nice to interfere in a Scotland Yard investigation. The constabulary and the yard itself would not take kindly to such an offense, and it could lead to serious repercussions for any individuals or perhaps even any agencies involved.
well, of course, I take your meaning, sir,
He
and
opens the door for you with a key.
I'm sure if at some stage you were to share any information with us, we would not need to be involved in such dubious activities.
Of course, of course. Please give my regards to Master Von Zorn. He holds the door open for you.
Well, we shall repair to the agency. Seeing as he's just outed Zorn, he obviously knows who he belongs to. We shall repair to the agency once we have departed. And I'll give him a nod.
Make it
And
soon. I imagine the constable will return in the next 5 minutes or less.
okay. And
Now,
yeah,
the idea
I will.
you don't have to make an idea roll to remember. Von Zorn did say he had already spoken to Scotland Yard, so that's probably why
Okay.
this guy mentioned Von Zorn. He probably knows um, that you would be here, that you're affiliated with him. You know,
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
just wanted to
it
let him
wasn't
know
like
that.
any amazing Sherlock Holmes esque deduction on his behalf per se. But
Okay. Oh, that's where Zorn went on his. That was where he went after he spoke to me.
no, he was there before he
Possibly.
spoke to you. I believe,
Okay.
didn't he?
No worries.
Did he go? Wait, wait, wait,
Anyway,
wait, wait,
I'll
wait, wait, wait. Let me think. Let me think. Yeah, he visited the yard before going to the lodge. Yes, I had to think about that for a second. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So he would have mentioned to you
And
that
I
he'd been there.
and I imagine immediately I'm in a dark room, so I'll probably take out a match,
Okay.
light a match,
Yeah.
and
You find
listen.
you'll find like a candle, like not candelabra, but a sconce nearby
Mhm,
that you can remove and use as a handheld.
mhm. And if I don't hear any activity in the house, I'll call out softly while climbing the stairs. No doubt thinking they're in the master bedroom or something like that, something
Yeah. Why
similar.
don't
See
you?
if I can locate.
Ooh, my voice is cracking. Sorry. Puberty's a bitch. Ruben and Belgrave, why don't you guys give me stealth rolls?
Okay, let's see here.
I hate to waste such a wonderful roll on such a silly little thing, but I have a 4.
Okay.
I really would have liked that to save that for a shotgun in a tiger's face, but it is what it is.
I got a 35, which is a normal success.
Okay. Yeah, you don't hear anybody, but yeah. So you start making your way upstairs, Augie.
I say, gentlemen, the game's up.
All right, you guys
Where
would
are
hear
you?
that. He's not trying to conceal that. So you guys
Here's
could
we
definitely
have
hear him.
company, Mr. Carmichael.
Indeed, Belgrave. Let's beat feet.
Indeed.
And he will take his books and head out.
So, obviously, this cube was nowhere to be seen, right?
No, definitely not.
And Gerard, you did. I mean, I'm sorry, Belgrave. You did grab the picture or no?
No, I'm not going to steal the picture. I just wrote down the information from the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention it?
The stuff at the back? Yeah, I showed it to you.
Yeah,
Okay, very
showed
good.
you the picture. I'm sure you would have looked at the back as well.
Yeah, I'll go put this picture back, and
After all, that's
put
how you were able to deduce that Kudgery was in Australia.
Right. So he's going to. I'm going to go put the picture back, and he's going to keep. He's going to keep it, of course.
Did I recognize the voice that was speaking from downstairs?
I think so. Yeah, he wasn't trying to be too secret.
Got
Or
it.
anything.
Okay, so I will just let's see here.
In fact, you
So when I
probably
hear
even
that,
heard the front door open, and then you guys got super quiet for a few seconds, and then you would have heard Augie whispering out, "Hey," whispering loudly, as it were, "Guys."
Okay, so he's in that foyer area and it's open to above. So I'll step out of the library, put down the lantern, walk over to the railing and just wave down at him and then point towards the back of the hall and then walk out that way.
Okay.
I'll bring the
Yeah,
lantern
I'll
with me.
meet them at the back door.
Yeah.
At which point I'll say, "We've had a kind warning from Scotland Yard to depart the premises."
Kind warning indeed. I did not realize your roots ran that deep, Boggy.
Well, I'm not without certain abilities.
He does the same side of his nose in the wink that he did earlier. Ah.
Yes, quite. We have some minutes. If there is anything else you wish to do as the clock ticks, as it were.
There is one thing, and I will head back up the Sturven stairs real quick.
Okay.
I'll grab that hook and
Yep.
pop open the attic door, and then climb up the
Okay.
ladder and take a quick peek around.
Yep. Looking around with your lantern.
Waft the lantern around.
It's
See if
very,
anything
very
jumps out.
dusty.
Then check the floor near and around. Look for it
No.
to be disturbed.
You're the first person to be up here in a long time.
All right, then just close it back up and put the hook back, and yeah, get the heck out.
A very long time, possibly years.
No excuse for for the shape of that. There's that someone's been in there for a long time or not.
Actually,
Shameful.
there kind of is an excuse, but that's okay. Ruben might know the excuse. Do you remember, Ruben?
We have to get out of here, but remember.
Do you remember what you noticed about Bidwell during the party?
My notes that I got off for Bidwell is that I believe he was sick and out of sorts for quite a bit.
Yeah, he had been out of the loop for several years.
Like 3 years.
Yeah,
he was missing for 3 years, and it was in. Yeah, and then he had some time in an institution.
Yeah, he was showing signs that you would often see on people who had spent long periods in an asylum,
like in a sanitarium, right? Exactly.
Kind of a
well, I don't know that. All I know is,
and yeah.
I wanted to hit that attic. Well, Augie, I wanted to hit the attic. So if you would find some way to pass along that perhaps the attic might be a good place to look. I don't know how you're going to do it, or if we even should, but every other place I could think of has been covered for where this. Anyway, let's get underway first.
Didn't Belgrave just check the attic?
He did.
Yeah, I just went up there real quick to look around and see if there was any signs of activity and whatnot up there, but
I meant in the day and not under a rush. But yes,
I just found it shameful that it's in the condition that it's in.
Indeed. Well, the house was at minimal staff for a number of years as Mr. Bidwell was occupied in sanitarium, one assumes.
Well, fortunately, you brought the journal with you, right?
The journal and the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess this journal will have any information we require. But is there any kind of household ledger that has the comings and goings of like finances and stuff like that? Or does this journal look like it'll contain that information?
I would imagine the butler would have that, if he was also the houseman.
Right, yeah, probably. The last entry, let me just check here. Oh yeah, the last entry in the journal was made a few weeks ago. Before that, though, the second to last entry in the journal was made on the 12th of November, 1888.
What was the date on that picture?
1887, I believe. Let me double check. Oops, I went the wrong way.
It is curious.
The photo, oops, there it is. I just passed it again. The photo, yeah, 1887, 30th of October.
Well, I guess we should just leave, probably.
Yeah, it's been several minutes.
Well, let us depart, gentlemen.
Indeed.
Okay. So you
turn
depart.
Off the lantern and put it back.
Yeah. Of course, Gerard is still standing dutifully at the back door, keeping a lookout, and nobody came around back. You didn't see anybody, not even a bird or a crow. Okay. So where to then? Back to the agency, or by this point in time, Let's see. Oh yeah, because you left him out there for a while. You didn't get back till after 6:30. Yeah, it's after 7 o'clock. Probably closer to 7:30 by the time you get back to the agency.
All right. Immediately head to the kitchen, wash up, and start cooking dinner.
Oh well, Markham will already have dinner.
Very good.
Mostly prepared, but you can help him to set it out.
Of course.
He's been keeping it warm. Knows that the masters of the house oftentimes are kept out all kinds of crazy hours. It's nice to keep a warm meal for them when they do come in.
Indeed.
And if they don't return one night, then you can always reheat it the next. And if they don't
I
come
guess
back the next night, then he and Mrs. Levi will eat it.
I guess the first matter for concern would be that Zorn has not returned here either.
No, he has not. Markham will, of course, be there, and he will. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. Markham will be there, of course, and he will tell you no. There's been no word or no sign of Master Von Zorn. I thought he would be with you.
Hmm.
He didn't tell me where he was going after he spoke to me, did he? He just said
No.
he had
Well,
some
no, he did
matters
mention.
to
He did
attend
say
to.
he was gonna. He was heading to Limehouse, but
Limehouse.
yeah,
What's that?
Limehouse. It's a neighborhood in London. It's around the Lambeth area. It's kind of a shady neighborhood. It will, in the next couple of years, it will become Chinatown. Um,
Mm-hmm.
lots of lots
Well,
of
I'll,
seedy business happens there. It used to be the territory of the Greens, of course, when this campaign started. That group of Irish Fenians, but they have almost dropped off the map since your events at the what was that place called? The Hall of Dark Mysteries or whatever it was called. Um, yeah, the Greens have practically disappeared from London since then, and currently it is the turf operated by No Namdak's gang of Cho Cho and if you have any knowledge of such things, you may know that there's a bit of a turf war going on between No's gang and a Chinese gang in the neighborhood.
I would just share the information that that's where he was off to when I spoke to him. If they have any, they'd have more knowledge about what connections he has there and his reasons for doing so. But what of the Bidwell house, gentlemen? Did you discover aught within?
It was rather disappointing.
Yeah, the expectations were slight. I mean, Scotland Yard are no slouches at investigating. We did find a few curious aspects, though, and that is that that the butler's room was in a manner that you would expect from any day. His coat was there, his shoes were there, his luggage is there. So if he did run, it would have been like running into the street naked, as it were, not prepared in any way. So we thought to seek for a hidden room or stuffed into the chimney or something along those lines, and we just ran out of time.
Well,
Was there any carpets missing?
Good call. It's a shame you were in the back door. He could have used you. I don't think there was any obvious carpets. Belgrave, you certainly would have caught eye of that before I would have.
No, I did not notice any such thing.
but why do you ask after a carpet? Think
And roll up the body and get it out without anybody seeing it.
you mean a third party and the
Indeed.
body of the butler?
Yeah. Just thinking off the top of my head.
Indeed.
Mm.
Well, give me
Hmm.
what would I call it?
Well, As we
It
have
would help if I unmute
deduced,
myself on the Zoom. You guys that were in the house, so that would be, yeah, the three of you, Belgrave, Ruben, and August, can all make, let's call it spot hidden rolls. It's kind of like a retroactive roll, but just see if you notice anything about the carpets when you were wandering around.
All right.
nope.
Goodbye.
No.
Oof. So 78. Hold on.
Wow, you all failed. Huh? Yeah, nobody knows anything about the carpets anyway. No
Yeah,
idea.
61. That's a failure.
Not even sure if there was any carpet.
Flying carpet.
What's carpet?
And this séance, gentlemen, did Bidwell lead it himself, or did he have some gypsy or other?
It is a mystery. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure how much more we can delve into this.
You
If the
were
butler,
present.
Go ahead.
You were present at the séance, I take it.
Indeed.
And was there a clairvoyant of sorts, or did Mr. Bidwell lead the séance?
There were a number of known occultists on hand, but he did have an unusual artifact, and that was in fact one of the things we were looking for today, and that was this crystalline cube, as noted in this picture. And as he pulls the picture out, he looks at Belgrave with a wink.
I just kind of like look disapprovingly.
So this is a photograph, not a painting, correct?
Yeah, it's a
It's
photograph.
photograph.
Okay. Is there a date on the back of it? Yeah, I think you said that. But
Yeah,
I don't know that.
30th of
Okay.
October, 1887.
So
With
the night
Mortimer,
before
it said.
Halloween.
Mhm. With
Night before
Mortimer.
Halloween.
And it also had
You
a
guys-
location written on there, Concudgery.
And you guys took the picture, did you?
He did, yeah.
Indeed.
And is
Ruben
it
did.
framed?
Let's say it was framed. I think it was, yeah. Oh wait, no, it probably isn't framed since it had writing on the back.
Writing on the back, yeah.
No, it was not framed.
Any other details of what he's dressed in or something in the background, which might be?
Yeah, well, they were. The boy was small, thin, and pale. Bidwell was tanned and healthy looking. Both of them were wearing shorts and short sleeve shirts, and all around them was desert.
How old does the boy appear to look?
And Bidwell holds a clear cube about 4 inches square in one hand. How old does the boy appear to look? Well, let me see, because I know this. Well, actually, I don't know this. I know it's in here somewhere. I want to say he was around 12.
And what's the year now?
1891. It's 4 years later.
Okay.
Did it say anything about the age of the boy? Just said he's a young boy. He could be. He could be. Well, you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily exactly his age anyway. Somewhere around 10,
Right.
12, somewhere in that area. You guess? Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
He's
So
young.
he'd
He's
still
definitely
be
not a man
so he'd
yet.
still be a young person at this time as well. Wonder who this boy is. What is his relationship to Mr. Bidwell?
It is curious, but I am more curious of this cube.
Well, why don't you give me an idea roll there, Ruben?
Stand by. Idea rolls are what he does.
Idea rolls are great things for when your investigators are overlooking
55.
something that's like right in their hands.
55 is
Yeah.
an idea roll.
Maybe
Yeah.
you might find some information in the journal that you're holding.
Ah, shitballs. I have a journal to review. All right, he'll start with the most recent entry and work his way back.
Right.
Oh, wait. What's the most, no, he's going to go to the first entry of the previous book and see what the date is on that.
I don't know exactly, but I do know that the interesting information in this journal dates from October of 1887 up until a few weeks ago.
From the date
And
of
the one a few weeks ago was the last journal entry.
Fair enough. The thought was that maybe he might have got lucky and got the journal from the point that he picked up the cube. But okay.
Well, he has the cube in his hand in the picture. That's 30th of October, and the first interesting journal entry here is the 20th of October, 1887.
Oh, we'll start there.
So it'll take you about 4.5 hours to read through the whole thing.
Can I use library use to try to reduce that time?
You can, but then you're gonna have to roll for each bit of information.
I'll do it. He has a good library use.
Okay, then I won't send you the handout because that has all the information. So give me a library use roll.
How many would you like?
8.
8. Let me change my thing to 8. Stand by.
Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
All right. His library use.
I lied. The last journal entry is the day of the party. Okay, sorry.
So how many would you like? Did that change the number?
No, 8.
Okay, stand by.
And yeah, I'm sorry. I'll answer that question for August. Yes, John Bidwell did run the seance. I don't know why Ruben doesn't want to answer your question.
Yes, he led it with the cube. Yes, I'm sorry, with the cube. I was distracted by the moment. 66.
You keep your secrets.
66.
I just want to know success or fail.
Well, I was going to tell you, 66 is his number, and all 8 are successes, with the highest being a 60.
Good. So it takes you less than an hour to pick all these out. In that case, I will send you the attachment because you found everything.
Sweet.
Boom. It's coming through right now. And you may read those at your leisure to the group, please.
Fancy, fancy. There's a lot there. Share it to everybody.
I did send it to everybody, but I want you to read out loud for the broadcast.
20 October 1887. Our expedition has moved inland from Port Halen to the small village of undecipherable.
Concudgery.
Is that Concudgery? Mm-hmm. All right, let me improve the scale of my view here. 1 second. New computer. I apologize. I haven't got everything down yet. Oh, it's because it's here. Hold on. It's because I'm looking at it on Facebook. 1 second. Let me get out of here. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Let's see here. Concudgery. A young local named Mortimer Wycroft is sent to act as our guide to the Great Sandy Desert. His father, proprietor of a local outfitter, says the boy knows the area as good as any Aboriginal. So after many months here, my enthusiasm is waning, but young Master Wycroft is convinced there are great things to be found in this infernal stretch of sand and desolation. So I'm going to crib note it. 30 October, 10 days later. Still no hint of gold in this godforsaken place. Mortimer's enthusiasm sustains my faith as we press on. We did make an interesting discovery, a curious discovery today, a queer artifact made of crystal. The thing's exquisite. A cube of perfectly clear crystal with a metal disc embedded within its center. Unusual markings run along the disc, but they have no language that I or any of my party recognizes. It appears to be quite ancient. An old Aboriginal had the odd cube and related to us the tale of how his great-great-grandfather was discovered delirious and clutching the curious cube after he'd been lost for several days in the desert. The Aboriginal, apparently mad with exposure, raved about the great city beneath the sand, city of giants. There, supposedly, the savage had discovered the crystal. According to the story, the madman had been told by mighty spirits to guard the artifact with his life and to pass it down generation to generation, ensuring that it not fall into the wrong hands. The crazed native died shortly thereafter, leaving the thing to his son, and so the cube supposedly had passed from father to son for generations. The old savage refused to let me examine the thing, saying that no one must look into the crystal, and that doing so would bring great evil. He insisted that the evil spirits had created the item to steal the souls of anyone who gazed into it. The Aboriginals' refusal so infuriated me that I had no recourse but to shoot him dead and to take the thing. Of course, his fellows put up quite a bit of trouble, but nothing to my companions that I couldn't handle. Most of the natives were dead. When it was finally over, damn fools. I carefully wrapped the cube, packed it safely away for future study. 24 November, same year. Mortimer suggests again that we abandon our search for gold and turn our energies discovering this legendary city beneath the sands. He truly believes this place exists and there's much to be found there. The boy spends too much time idle fancy. 1 December, 87. Young Master Wycroft tried to persuade me to return the crystal artifact to the Aboriginals today. This is his third such attempt since we discovered the queer piece. I think his nerves have gotten the best of him. Harsh environment has caused us all restless sleep and nightmares. But I told him that it didn't have the stomach for the job, that I'd have to sack him. Silly counsels me to abandon our current objectives and look for this lost city of giants. 26 December, 87. Caught Mortimer trying to steal the bloody cube today. That was the final straw. The boy becomes something of a burden than a help. We have yet to spot any sign of gold, and he yet insists on trying to fill my head with fanciful talk of lost cities. This lad is lucky that I'm a gentleman and let him go with a mild beating. I reminded him of the old savage for whom I obtained the artifact, lest he trouble me again. I think perhaps it's time to return to Port Halen and set up to the coast for a new location. Tomorrow we begin to trek back to the coast. 12 November, 88. Today I discovered a queer crystal cube packed away in a trunk. I'd completely forgotten about the damn thing since I returned from Australia. I recall now all the troubles the artifact caused me with the Wycroft boy and the Aboriginals. Damn strange business. Dated a few weeks ago, this is the first entry made since the 12th of November, 1888. Finally, I am free of cursed Albrook. I am appalled at how long I languished there, a prisoner of that foul place. My only thought is now to return to Yebcub. Oh, the sight of life. There I was a god. I do not fully understand how it happened, but I know the crystal cube is key. A few days later. Curse it. So far, I've had no luck returning to my beloved Yebcub. Damn. Is this bloody thing broken? Or was I truly mad? No, I must return there. Perhaps someone among the occult quasi-intellectuals can help me. Someone among them who has truly any powers. Day of the party and the seance. For weeks I've sought aid of mediums, psychics, and occult societies in my quest. All to no avail. Tonight I will conduct my own ritual. Try to activate the artifact. I shall gather the 12 most knowledgeable people in the field of the occult, and with them conduct the seance. I pray that their combined interest, knowledge, and power is enough to open the way for my return to the glorious Yebcub. Tonight, I host a magnificent gala, a gathering of some of the most creative minds in all of London. I shall pick 12 guests to participate in my experiment, 12 to help me find my way home. Nothing else. Final entry.
There you go.
Well, that is curious.
It's an
Cross
interesting
myself.
tale.
I think we need to look into this butler and see what he was before.
You think he could be this Wycroft returned?
I think he may be associated. Yeah, I think he may be associated with those who wanted to keep the crystal hidden, or he may have been driven mad by looking into the crystal, polishing and such. But let us do some mundane follow up and see if he had been with the family for a length of time, or was a new pickup for the help.
Give me an idea roll as well. Something That might have struck you while you were reading that, John.
Stand by.
Everybody else
Need
can
to
roll
take
too if they
all
wish,
Gotta take the 10 entries off.
since you did read it out loud to all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a
I'm looking for a
44.
hard success.
Oh, I only got 44.
Yeah, I think I got a hard success. Let me have a look. No, I didn't.
4 points and I can have a hard success.
Anybody else get a hard success before he spends the points?
I rolled a 94.
I guess not.
4 points it is. I will take 1 from each party member and fill the rest in myself.
You cannot do that. You just spend 4 points.
Okay, I will spend 4 points of Augies. Done.
I can spend. Hang on, let me do the calculations here. I've got to spend 4 points as well. I'll spend it
Okay. So Augie spends it instead.
as a
Fair enough.
short-term member.
Based on the dates in the diary, Bidwell returned from Australia less than 2 months before the first of the infamous Jack the Ripper murders of 1888.
Jesus. Okay.
John
Stand by.
Bidwell is also known to be a misogynist.
Woman hater.
Among other things.
Damn it. Okay, so at this point, I'm struck with that idea. Gentlemen, I'll be right back. And he's going to run to the house library and break out the journals or any sort of dated information from the original Hudson and Brand, and see if he can correlate any other dates and entries with the Bidwells.
See if there's any kind of connection.
Specifically dealing with the potentially nefarious Hudson.
Right. There is not nothing seeming to connect the two. Pardon me.
Now, what I was looking for, one second, I was looking for to see if, now that we've established that maybe the dates correlate with Bidwell and his potential, to see if indeed there are curious dates on Hudson's end, or Hudson's end, as far as like at that same time period he was going abroad, or that same time period he received a bunch of stray packages, something else like that.
He was interned in the asylum, right? So we could.
That was the assumption.
John Bidwell, yes, he mentioned Albrook. Albrook is an asylum.
Right.
So we can find out the dates on his period in there and see if.
Indeed, but we can't do that from here. But I can do this. So I want to see if there's anything that like proves that.
So to see that maybe Hudson wasn't around when the Ripper killings were going on,
or Hudson was in the United States, or in Africa, or China, or something like that.
No, Hudson was most assuredly in London during the Ripper killings. However, since you're looking at all this, you will find in, because I imagine you check the same dates in Bidwell's journal.
Correct.
You will find that he has alibis in his journal for 2 of the evenings in which the murders occurred. He was at a fancy ball on the 31st of August, at which dozens of witnesses should be able to corroborate his story if it holds true. And he was at a business meeting at the home of a Nigel Stander in Elstree on the night of the 30th of September, which is the night of Jack the Ripper's infamous double event. He committed 2 murders in the same night.
Nigel Standard?
Nigel Stander, just Stander, no D on the
Stander. All right.
However,
Stander.
The butler may not have such an alibi.
Exactly. Can I get those dates again, please? The Nigel Stander and then the party.
31st of August was the party. 30th of September. This is all 1888. 30th of September was the business meeting with Nigel Stander.
Got it. Very good. And agreed on the butler. So those are all good points to look up when we're able to do so.
Yeah.
And not that it rules him out, but Bidwell was sickly as well, right? Or enfeebled.
He appeared that way, but
you never know.
If he was guilty of such things, one would assume that would tear apart your soul and could affect you physically as well.
It'd give you the strength of a madman.
By this point in time, it's getting pretty late on this Sunday.
Indeed. Bit of dinner, bit of sleep, bit of cognac.
I imagine you're kind of having dinner as you're going over all this, because yeah, it was pretty much ready, just had to be
Sure.
served. So yeah,
Agreed. Sleep may be a.
the next day will be Monday the 14th.
All right, gentlemen. So we have a couple goals here. We are looking at following up on the butler, on his person, number one, and then on the dates regarding the butler. See if any of those correlate.
And if we can find from if Scotland Yard is amenable, they may tell us whether they found the cube or that it was definitely missing. For it seems
The asylum dates, make sure that those line up. Follow up on the party and Nigel.
Do we know if the only wound to Mr. Bidwell was the stabbing through the heart with the fireplace poker? They did say that's how he was killed, but if that was his only wound, then that is even more curious to me, because truly the best way to use a fireplace poker would be to just smash someone's skull in.
Indeed.
I could see after the fact stabbing it into the body, but if that's the only wound, that's even more curious. And was it from the front or was it from behind?
Indeed. So we could follow up with the autopsy with the body. Bidwell body. Okay, so there's plenty to do. Let's divvy this up. Who wants to take the following up on the butler?
I could go and. Did we get the name of the agency? I forget. That he
No,
used?
no,
No.
was not found.
Well, being a manservant myself, I suppose I could follow up on the butler.
Right. Very good.
The
So
butler
we're looking.
almost assuredly wasn't from an agency. He probably, he had a
Right.
room. He lived in the home, so.
Of course, but I
Yeah.
can.
And from what you saw of the house, it looked like he was probably the only live-in servant.
Yeah, we
He's
want to
got
find
his-
out how long he had been there and if he traveled abroad with him, and if the butler has any dates that would correspond with the Ripper murders.
you've got his name anyway.
Yep,
unless
and then
it's an
we need
alias.
to follow up on the asylum. We need to follow up on Bidwell's noted party, and Nigel, meeting with Nigel Stander, and then following up on Bidwell's body itself. So I've got connections downtown, so I'll take the body. I will follow up on the body. So that leaves the asylum dates and the dates coordinating with Bidwell's activities. Gentlemen?
Perhaps I could inquire further with Scotland Yard if the detective sergeant is well disposed to us.
Following up for the asylum dates or the Bidwell, or just everything in general?
What they found at the moon.
Okay. Something else. Okay, very good.
Whether the cube was in fact missing. And he may also they may have done some investigations regarding the butler and the agency.
Okay. So I will take the body and the asylum dates if someone else wants to take the Bidwell party dates and his meeting with Nigel Stander to see if those were in fact legitimate.
Right.
And the last one left, I'll just take whatever.
Very good.
Left over.
So you're gonna look up on Bidwell's alibis.
Correct.
Whatever I'm assigned, it's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what he's got left. He want verify the 31st of August that he was at the party, and that the 30th of September he did meet with Nigel Standard. And if such, that excuses him from the Ripper murders,
Okay.
at least initially. And then I will follow up with the Bidwell body and the asylum.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else you require of me this evening, sir?
That you get a good night's rest. Job well done.
All right, I'll go and do the dishes and then get to bed.
Okay. Yep. Following morning, you all have things to follow up on. So,
Just before going to Scotland Yard, I'd want to know if they want to report Zorn missing.
Good question. He still has not returned.
He is
worrisome. It's worrisome.
Yeah, it is worrisome. And then again, not so much. He is a flighty sort of a guy.
Yeah, he did kind of disappear in the middle of, well, right at the beginning of an investigation recently. The last
Yes.
investigation you did. He just kind
Indeed.
of
So
disappeared for a while.
Has anybody personally met his army friend and his wife, the wife of the army friend, and the son?
Well, we met the brother of her.
Yeah,
her brother.
you met
Yeah.
you met
House.
yeah,
Right.
you met her, the brother. That was his name? Hardcastle.
Well,
Can't
I
remember
didn't.
his first name.
Is he in London?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If I get through with what I'm doing, I'll try to make a call upon him and see if they have any word of Zorn before we go to the police.
Okay.
That would be embarrassing for him if we went to the police and it was something minor.
Okay. Fair enough.
If that's all right with everybody else.
absolutely. Just tread carefully when dealing with social etiquette and such.
Sure.
All right. So let's see. So Belgrave, or sorry, Gerard, you're going to spend most of the day doing the legwork to follow up on the those leads, or those alibis, I should say, for Bidwell.
Yes.
August, the first thing you're going to do is, or the only thing you're going to do, right? You're going to go to Scotland Yard, and Ruben, you were going to. What was the thing you're going to do before the asylum dates? Because you have to go to the asylum for that. That's a trip.
Following up on Bidwell's body.
Right. Okay. Bidwell's body. Okay. So I'm just trying to think in my head what we'll resolve first. So first we will go with August. So you can go to Scotland Yard. You'll meet a desk clerk.
Good morning. I'm wondering, I guess he'd have his own personal calling card as opposed to the Hudson and Brand one.
Okay. Sure.
I'm wondering if Detective Sergeant Melverhill is available.
Well, that depends. What is your luck? Oh yes, yes. Mulverhill's in. I rolled a 9. I'm sure your luck's higher than that. He is. He has not yet departed for the day. He checks your card. Says August Breckenridge Dunhampton. Well, that's a mouthful. He smiles. Yes, I will. I will let him know that you are looking for him if you'd like to have a seat. And within a few minutes, well, the desk clerk will return like a minute later, and then a few minutes after that, then Mulverhill himself will come out to meet you. Says, Mr. Dunhampton, I did not think I would see you again so soon.
Yes. Well, are we in the entry room?
Yeah. Would you like to speak in a private capacity?
Yes, I think that would be best.
So he's pretty still nondescriptly dressed. He's a sergeant detective. He's not like a a patrol officer. He walks with a walking stick, so he'll lead you down to an office. Say, in here. This is where I'm working out of for this case. He'll close the door behind himself. So, uh, what can I do to help you, Mr. Dunhampton?
Well, as brothers, we share some loyalties to each other. And while I would not ever lean upon your professional integrity, it seems this case is of import to the lodge. And
Indeed.
there are some rather concerning developments. And although I am not worried for such a capable man as yet, Mr. Von Zorn's whereabouts are currently unknown.
Oh,
And I fear perhaps there could be a danger to the wider lodge. And
this is troubling.
we are interested in bringing about. I imagine at this point, because I know there's degrees and there's tiers within
Yeah,
the Freemasons. I'm not quite sure whether they share the same lodge or what degree who's at or whatever.
right.
I imagine there's a bit of compartmentalization.
You're probably pretty equal, you and this guy, as
Mm,
far as within the Masons goes. He's not one of the I can't think what it's called. The the royal level anyway.
yeah,
There's a term for it.
33rd,
It has the word
33rd
royal in it, but I can't remember what it is.
Grandmaster or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I just lost
Um,
a die. Well, please,
and
there's no need to speak in riddles here behind closed doors, uh, Mr.
well,
Dunhampton.
in my capacity as friend and brother to von Zorn, I agreed to help him in resolving this case and, at the very least, uh, removing any suspicion uh, and exonerating Hudson and Brand, as it were, from this sordid affair. But it seems to run deeper and be far more mysterious and concerning. And I would beseech you, if there was some information you could share on the matter, perhaps I would not then run the risk of tripping over your own investigation.
Of course. Well, I will be frank with you, brother. Your loyalty to Hudson and Brand as an agency is second, of course, to your loyalty to the Freemasons.
Of course.
What I'm about to tell you is not a very well known secret, but there are several prominent brothers here in London that believe that Mr. John Bidwell was Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper struck in the fall of 1888, left 5 prostitutes dead, and the city gripped in terror. He began his bloody career in August, and by November, his crimes had ended. John Bidwell returned to England from Australia in July of 1888. His hatred of women was well known by some of his closest friends, particularly within the Masons. The famous Golston Street graffiti hinted at Masonic involvement, as did the mutilations of Red Jack's victims. When Sir William Gull was summoned to Bidwell's home one evening in November of 1888, he discovered Bidwell totally savagely insane. The Ripper murders ended just at the same time that Bidwell entered Albrook Asylum. Fearing the public repercussions if it were found that the Ripper was a Freemason, and of course, to uphold their sworn allegiance to protect their brothers. A group of high ranking Masons, including the late Mr. Gull, or the late Sir Gull, arranged for Bidwell to be quickly and quietly locked up in Albrook Asylum. We searched his home for any evidence which might link him to the crimes, but we found nothing. And ultimately, we decided to use our influence to have the files sealed. The case was never officially solved, as I'm sure you well know. But we were confident that John Bidwell would die a raving lunatic in Albrook Asylum then, taking the horrible secret of Jack the Ripper to his grave. His recovery and recent release came as quite a surprise to all of us. And from the time of his release until his murder the other night, we were watching him very closely.
And the butler?
He's just a butler. He was unemployed for several years while uh, well, our good brother Bidwell was in the asylum, and quickly reemployed as I suppose, a friend to John upon John's release. He was working for some other family um, in Hampstead Heath. Nothing of any consequence, nothing of any interest that I could find there. Now, I have shared with you the grisly secret that hangs above our entire brotherhood right now during this time and during this investigation. It is paramount that this information does not become public knowledge. And I would advise you, if at all possible, to ensure that none of your colleagues at the Hudson and Brand Agency, barring Master Von Zorn, of course, should come to know any of these details, as it may place their own lives in danger.
Very well. I understand.
If you feel that they may be making the same conclusions, please let me know, and I will be sure to see that they are arrested and charged with the murder of John Bidwell to keep them quiet for a while until we can, hopefully, find another way to cover up
But
the
you,
truth.
well, so you seek to place it, this murder, upon the hands of the butler.
Oh, this was no frame job, believe it or not. The butler did indeed seem to have commit the crime. Of course, he has not yet been found. If
Hmm.
he can be found and if he confesses, then
Hmm.
I thought
And
perhaps he may have some tie to one of the victims. That perhaps he also knew about this secret of John's. But I think that's just my paranoia. I've been at this for too long.
and
Could not
it
find
is
any
my
connection.
it is my understanding that you removed the weapon, the poker
Yes, yes, it's here at the
itself from
yard.
the house. Was there aught else you took from the house?
No, just the murder weapon and the body.
Hmm. And of course, I will seek to cooperate and fulfill my vows as I am able. Let's just see. Was there anything else we wanted to push for? This butler has family connections in London,
His family is from London, yes.
and obviously you have already made contact
Yes, he has
with
an
these.
elderly mother, but the rest of his family is deceased. He is an only child, has no wife or children of his own.
And I understand there was an agency secured to help run the event the night of the murder of servants and such.
Okay.
Was that true, or have I misinterpreted that?
Let me see. I do not know. I will have to investigate this myself.
Hmm. Hmm. So, what is the most satisfactory resolution of this crime, do you feel, brother?
Well, we find the murderer, see justice done, and make sure that no one gets too curious about the strange coincidences between John Bidwell and Jack the Ripper.
Hmm.
We protect the
Very
lodge.
well. Very well. Um,
After
I
all,
think that's
Bidwell is already dead. There's nothing we can do for him anymore further. But if we can bring at least his killer to justice, that would be perhaps the last service we could provide a brother.
Hmm. And if this butler was somehow to be revealed as the Ripper himself?
Well, if we could pin the Ripper killings on anyone else, of course, yes, that would be a wonderful resolution. But you don't think Bidwell's the man?
No.
Or are you simply thinking of a frame job?
Well, it is our duty to protect the lodge. And he'll kind of shift a bit and straighten his waistcoat. And perhaps our duty to the truth is a close second.
Always.
Very well. Thank you, Detective. You'll be most helpful. And yeah, he'll say farewell.
Okay. Yeah, he'll give you whatever proper um, Mason departure would be. I don't know what that would be. Probably something about going with God or something, because they're all. Um,
Yeah.
at that time, I think they all had to be Christians. I'm not sure. I know that nowadays they just have to all believe in God, but yeah. Either way,
Yeah. It's complex.
yeah, right. Either way, yep. He'll say his farewells and wish you luck. Okay, Ruben, you were going to the morgue. Assuming there's a morgue.
Indeed.
Okay. What are you going to do when you get there?
Well, Hudson and Brand and Ruben have dealt with the morgue before, and in fact, he was seeking to put the young lad as there as an apprentice, so to sate his desire to be around dead bodies,
Oh, right.
and
George Forby.
right, and to get him some early medical and maybe some direction with his life, and to get him out of the house because he's a creeper.
Right.
So if that came to fruition, then he's got a point of contact as far as
It has not
his.
yet.
It has not yet.
Nope.
Okay,
I
in the
just
process
rolled
of
a 93.
all right, in the process of seeking that out, did he at least get a name to start the process?
Sure, sure. You know of a doctor there. Yeah. A
Then he
mortician
will seek
or
out that
something.
doctor in the if anybody needs the information to follow up on the apprenticeship for his young ward.
Okay. So you show up there. Um, what's your luck?
His luck currently is standby. It is a 52.
Okay. There's no police guard or anything there. Just the mortician himself, I suppose, and whatever staff might actually work in a morgue. Probably not. Probably just him. Ah, yes, Master Carmichael Brand, is it not?
Indeed. Is this the doctor in question, or is just another mortician?
This is the doctor in question.
And his name is? So I'm writing it down.
Fuck, I don't know. I'll make something up. Or I'll let Google make something up for me.
How about something Rutherford?
Rutherford sounds good. Dr. Rutherford.
Nigel. Nigel? No, we already have a Nigel from
Nope.
Stand.
Nathan. Dr. Nathan Rutherford.
Nathan Rutherford.
You can write that down on your backstory part of your character sheet if you want to say that you know the.
Got it. Dr. Nathan Rutherford.
Yeah.
And that little bastard's name was what, Forby? Creepy Forby?
George Forby is the son of your current girlfriend, the wife or widow, as it were, of your previous client, you dirty dog.
Hey, I rescued a fair maiden from a demon, so. Or we did, and I took credit for it either way.
A maiden she was not.
Maiden in my eyes, and that's all that matters.
Fair, perhaps.
Indeed. Dr. Wilmette, sir, how does the life in the morgue find you?
Did you just make a morgue joke?
It was a bit poor, wasn't it?
Well, it's quiet, just the way I like it.
Ha, quiet. The dead do tend to find their way here, don't they? Following up on young Master Forby coming in as an apprentice, has anything happened with that?
I'm still working on it. I have to get clearance, permission, and all of that. You know, being that the boy is so young.
He is young in age, but he is a unique individual, as I'm sure when the interview comes about that you will find.
Well, I sent the paperwork to his mother. I'm simply waiting for that to come back, and then I can present it to the superintendent, and we get everything cleared with the yard, since he would be exposed to police evidence and things.
Of course. He is an exceptional individual in regards to this.
If you happen to get a chance, if you speak to the mother, please tell her that I need that paperwork before I can roll the ball further down the hill.
It will be done today.
Or up the hill, as it seems to be with Scotland Yard these days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will be done today. Just out of a curious nature, we were in attendance to the Bidwell party.
Oh, were you?
Yes, it was quite an occasion. There were a number of.
Was it something he said?
Possibly. It was a very interesting group. All of the, or a lot of the odd and unusual types of London were there.
Sounds like Scotland Yard would have their hands full of suspects then.
Indeed, they interviewed us as well at the agency. We were in attendance. Many of the occult and those around the occult were invited.
I see.
So, on that note, Doctor, knowing what we do, was there anything totally unusual about Mr. Bidwell?
Yes, actually, something quite unusual about him.
Do tell.
It would seem that someone rammed a fireplace poker through his heart.
That would seem to be a rather difficult thing to do.
It's definitely not an everyday occurrence, I can tell you that.
The strength involved with that would be immense.
One would think, yes, one would have to be rather hardy.
Do
you work out, Mr. Brand?
He looks at him as he trying to flirt with him.
No, he's just wondering if you might be strong enough to ram a fireplace poker through someone's heart.
Well, that is a very curious observation. Is this something that maybe we could try on a cadaver of a homeless sort? Maybe just to test my strength, to give you an idea of what it would take to get through?
Oh, no, I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
I see. even on one going to Potter's Row or some such?
Well, there are places for that, but I'm not that kind of doctor.
Ah, very good. You got my morbid curiosity going. So that was it, just the one wound,
Cocks an
huh?
eyebrow.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, it was on purpose. So that was it, just the one wound.
Well, there were bruises. That seemed to have been a struggle beforehand.
One would assume. Might you have to work your way up to stabbing somebody through the chest with a poker? Very curious indeed.
But as far
Well,
as
Doc.
all of the blood that he lost, it seemed to come from one wound. Yes.
Well, Dr. Rutherford, I have taken up enough of your time. I will get that paperwork to you, toot sweet. And regardless, if the young lad gets in, if there's anything I can do for you or your office, or for you as a personal nature, just please let us know.
I will. I will keep that in mind, and I think I will put that favor in my back pocket for later, Mr. Brand. And in return, of course, I will not inform my regular visitors from Scotland Yard that you came by inquiring after the body of someone you may be a suspect of murdering. He smiles.
Very good, sir. Wink, nod.
Good day to you, Mr.
Christmas,
Brand.
and good day to you, sir. Well, that was odd,
Starts whistling a tune.
of course. And then he'll follow up on the asylum, whatever that takes, and
Right. So
let the others do
Albrook
what they got to do.
Asylum. Let me see. Where is it? It's not close. Albrook Asylum is located in the small Gloucestershire County community of Mercy Hill, 110 miles northwest of London near the River Severn. Or Severn, whatever it is. It will cost 7 shillings and take a 3-hour train ride to get there.
And is it still morning?
Yeah, it's like the later portion of the morning, but yeah, it's still morning. It's not midday yet.
Do we want to go, like, take a few people there?
A voice appears in the back of your head.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to bring your friends with you, Mr. Brand, or do you want to go vaunting off to Mercy Hill all on your own? You could be there in the afternoon, and with a bit of luck, you might be back in London tonight.
Yeah, he's gonna make a beeline to the train station. If the house is en route, he'll stop in and say hello, and if not, he will queue up one of the locations that the ravens or the bird or the crows or the birds might be on, and get one of them to get information back to the house.
Oh, sure. I'm
Very
sure. I'm sure you've got a bird at every major train station, or
sure.
somebody that can at least get a message to them. Yeah, no
And
problem.
he'll get his train set up, and if there's time, he will
Okay.
get a detailed message back that he is going to Albrook Asylum to verify the dates rather than
Sure.
rely on teletype or phone, and be back this evening or morning toot sweet.
So Gerard, you were doing the other legwork, looking into the alibis for John Bidwell. And let me see here the information on Bidwell. Where's the bit here? There's that. Right, here we go. So it takes you pretty much all day to kind of look into these things for the most part. You'll be able to, you'll get back before dinner time, you know what I mean? But it'd be late afternoon by the time you get back to the agency, Gerard. Um, so, yes, you will find several witnesses who corroborate the alibi for John Bidwell on the 31st of August. He did indeed attend the fancy ball. And you will also get in contact with Nigel Stander and find, it takes you several hours to find him, but eventually you find Nigel Stander. And he confirms that on the 30th of September, he indeed did have a business meeting with John Bidwell, which would rule him out from possibly being involved in the Ripper's double murder of that same day, same night, whatever. So it takes you most of the day to get it all figured out, but you do corroborate that. So with that information and with the journal entry itself, you have pretty solid deduction that John Bidwell could not be the Ripper.
Okay. All right.
I
So nobody else is at the house, right?
Well, let's see. By the time you get back to the house in the late afternoon, I think probably everyone will be there, maybe except for Ruben, who will be
Okay.
just arriving
I'll
in Mercy Hill.
get them together and let them know the situation, what I found out.
Belgrave, you weren't given any tasks for the day, were you?
Well, I was going to look into the butler, but August had already done a very good job of that.
Okay.
Because everything I was going to try to find out was like how long he'd been with the family and whatnot. So,
Okay.
Is the elderly mother?
Right, the butler's mother. You could go speak to her if you want. Scotland Yard probably already has, but
exactly.
I'll tell you what.
So I don't.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Let's take a quick bio break. I got to use the restroom, and then we're going to wrap this up in about another 15 minutes. So
Cool.
But duty, nature calls, I should say.
Duty.
I can hold it. I can hold it no
Duty.
longer. Not duty. No.
Ew.
Man, I think this cube might be the Ripper.
I think your lodge might be happy to know that they don't need to worry about his reputation. They have solid proof. That is, if we want to give them the journal.
Yeah. Like I don't imagine like Augie's like some mad zealot for the whole Freemason cause, but he it'd kind of be more like the cricket club, sort of a slightly more serious version of cricket club loyalty. But it's all like, yeah, it's a good one to have that connection with Scotland Yard. If you guys,
Yeah, definitely.
And favours owed. A few scenarios present themselves like this Hampstead Heath connection, perhaps the butler. What would have been good to get actually in retrospect is like a guest list.
Oh, from that evening?
Yeah.
See, that's an interesting point, now that you say it, because what if one of them recognized that crystal somehow and they came back to get it?
Well, it's very likely he was involved in other like secret societies other than just the Freemasons. And yeah, any of them who saw the potential use or did their Cthulhu mythos role.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking they might have. I mean, the butler himself may have fallen under its spell.
There is that.
And then killed him, and it would have just run off in a mad rage without his coat. But he could have also been procuring it for another family. It'd be interesting if this family from Hampstead Heath was present at the seance. Because that sounds like the name of a house, right? Hampstead Heath.
Indeed. I had to step away for a second. What are we breaking for?
Ian had duty time.
Oh, okay. Be right back.
Hello. Wow, that was loud. Oh gosh, I guess the venue behind my house, open up their back door, let the music out.
Yeah, I can't really think where the butler would be if he's not.
Okay, sorry about that. I was doing the pee-pee dance over here. Now, what is next? So, with August, so you had followed up with the yard. I had spoken to
Does
Mulverhill. So more like following up with the yard and the Freemasons at the same time, basically.
yeah does August know about this Hampstead Heath? Is that like a well-to-do family or something like that?
Now Hampstead Heath is a neighborhood, kind of almost a suburban neighborhood at the moment of London.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a problem.
I can't even remember what I said about Hampstead Heath. It was just a name that I knew. So threw it
That's
out
where
there.
the butler got employment while
Oh,
they're...
right, yeah. That's right.
Ah,
The
shit.
agency had another client who had lived out in Hampstead Heath as well, a Colonel Albert something or other. What was his name? The Colonel. Anyway, from the Jackals case, Night of the Jackals case.
Ah, shit. That's a dead end. I thought it was like an estate name or something.
Nope. It's a very affluent kind of suburban area outside of London.
Maybe we do want to talk to the mother then to find out where he was employed in the interim.
Oh, you want to go back to the agency first and sync up with your colleagues for chasing any more leads, or do you want to go straight there? It's your choice.
No, I would sync up. I think the asylum is more interesting connection and to compare
Yeah.
notes.
Unfortunately, Ruben has run off to the asylum already, and so yeah, the message will be there. The first person, so Belgrave, you'll be at the house when the message comes in. One of the birds rings
All right.
the bell. Um, Markham will, of course, answer it and let the boy in. Say, Mr. Belgrave, in the absence of Master Carmichael and Master Von Zorn, perhaps you should take this young lad's meeting.
Certainly, and I'll make up a plate of cookies and some milk.
And the message
Then
says,
bring them into the boy.
what does the message say, Ruben? This is your message. Are you there, John? Shit.
He might have stepped away while you are away.
Maybe
I think
so.
the message says I've gone to the asylum.
Right. Gone to Albrook. Might be back tonight. Something like that. Yeah.
Very good. Let him
Basically-
have his cookies.
Okay.
Get warm because he's been running around outside.
Yep. No problem. He eats cookies, drinks a glass of milk, and rushes back out.
Good lad.
Back to work. And for convenience sake, I'll say that August and Gerard both return to the house in the afternoon as well. Before there's another ring at the bell.
Mm.
And Markham will answer the door again and announce a Sir Godfrey Williamson. Godfrey Williamson was involved at that party. In fact, Gerard, you will recognize him from the seance. Which one was Godfrey Williamson? Yes, he's a psychic. I know that. Godfrey Williamson is. I feel like there was something more about him. I just want to see. Looking back in the notes, back from the party. Godfrey Williamson. Okay, yeah, he's just a celebrated psychic. Okay, I thought there might have been some other connection. But there you go. Yep. Godfrey Williamson at the door. Well, in the parlor now. He says, yes, I came to speak with Masters Brand or Von Zorn.
Both sirs are out at the moment. Perhaps I could take a message for them.
You, he points at Gerard, you were there. I saw you there.
Whereabouts are you speaking to?
Say again.
Whereabouts are you speaking to? The where?
At the seance 2 nights ago.
Yes, I was.
No,
He's
John,
a
we can't hear
small and pale man. He's got thinning hair and stringy mutton chop whiskers. Looks to be about in his late 50s. He's wearing fine but outdated clothing, and he at the moment is very animated and nervous looking. And he reaches in, pulls a pinch of snuff out of a tin in his pocket, and snorts it.
So we don't know him then, correct?
No.
Okay.
You recognize him from the seance. You don't know him personally.
So I do recognize him from the seance.
Yeah.
What was he doing there? Why did I recognize him
Well,
from?
he just partook. He partook in the seance. He was one of the 12
one
people,
of the people, 12 people.
which included yourself and Reuben and
Okay.
Wilhelm, of course, as well.
Yes. Now I remember you, sir. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. How may I help you, or how may we help you?
Well, things just haven't been right since that night. Do you feel it too?
What do you mean by right? It's kind of a vague.
Yes. Since that night, I've been having visions. I've spoken to the police. They came to me anyway. That beastly Inspector Cleveland just refuses to listen to any of my claims.
Claims?
I sense that you are onto something. Your inquiry agency here. I thought maybe you would listen to me.
Well, surely. Have a seat. May we get you something to drink to wet your palate or wet your tongue to speak?
Yes. A brandy would be nice. Yes, thank you. There's something. My strongest vision. There's a word I keep seeing, hearing. It's hard to explain, but something to do with Duncan or Duggan or something like that. I wish I could. I wish I could pin it down. I feel that it's important. I always get headaches and nausea, which is always a telltale sign that a vision is important.
And your vision, what do you see in the vision?
Just a word, but I can't quite make it out. I don't know if it's Duncan, Duggan, Dugan.
Dugan? And what does this word mean? What is this word is telling you?
I don't know. It must be a name, right?
I would think so.
There's something else. I sense a great many faceless men involved in this affair somehow. I can't see any of them clearly, but I feel that they can see me all too clearly. I think they see you as well.
They're faceless, but what else? What else about them do you see?
They're all dressed alike, like some kind of, I don't know, like a cult or something maybe. They're robed or something. It's so fuzzy and hard to make out, but just be careful if you are investigating this case.
Like priests, perhaps.
Yes, something like that. Yes, but it feels older and
the church.
Maybe.
Now, you say visions, and yet it is a word. If it is not spoken to you, how do you see it? Is it written? Is it daubed in blood?
It's like lettering in mist, like a great London fog.
I see. Letters in mist and faceless men. Intriguing.
Do these men have any jewelry upon them, such as necklaces, rings, anything like that?
I
How
thought
did
that
you
I
pronounce that
recall.
Australian city again?
Concudry? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't think it's a city. Well, yeah, it was a village, wasn't it?
I'll lean over to Gerard and say quietly, perhaps he means concudgery?
I'll tell you a word and tell me if it means something to you, sir. Um, Contudgery?
No,
Hmm.
no, that's not it. That's too big. No, it's something more English than that, I think. Duncan, Duggan, Dugan,
Deacon?
Deacon, maybe. I
Hmm.
thought I should tell you. It just feels wrong, and I feel like I said that these faceless men they're watching me, and I think they might be watching you too. And it only seemed right that I should warn you.
Are
Thank you
they
very much for
are
the
they
brandy.
are they men? Are they human that you see?
They seem to be. I mean, I can't see any faces, but they stand upright. They seem to have arms and legs.
Do they have hands?
I can't see them within the robes.
Okay. Is there color to the robes?
Everything is gray.
Hmm.
That's great.
Everything is
Would
gray.
you like us to call you a physician?
Certainly sounds like London.
No, no, I'm fine physically anyway. It's one of the prices you pay for these gifts.
Would you like to stay in a room here tonight?
No, no, I have things I must attend to.
But isn't your physical being and your soul itself worth more than the things you have to attend to?
But if I do not pay my rent, then my physical being will be in even graver danger. No, I thank you, but Inspector Cleveland will probably stop by again in the morning looking for me anyway, and it would look suspicious if I weren't home.
What is your occupation?
I'm a psychic.
Oh,
Hmm.
Here, he gives you his calling card.
Well, sir, if I may ask before you depart, you say you are a psychic and a seer of sorts, and you were in attendance at the seance, correct?
I was, yes.
What visions or impressions did you get that night?
I didn't really get any. It felt wrong. It felt like off. Like maybe, I don't know, it was almost as if Mr. Bidwell had just staged the entire thing. You weren't present, but you would know, he says, gesturing to Gerard. Like, we were there for 45 minutes and nothing came of it. I suppose it's a good sign that he wasn't actually faking anything, because as we would all know, charlatans love to put all kinds of tricks into their seances. There were no tricks this evening, and nothing, in fact, except for our host dismissing us after a fruitless 45 minutes and saying he was tired and feeling unwell.
And of course, you have an alibi for later that evening?
Just my cab. Whoa. Only my cab driver, but I suppose that's why the police still want to ask me more questions. You?
Of course.
Look at him over, and does he seem? How physically fit does this guy seem?
Oh, I don't think he's in great shape.
Okay,
You know,
so not the type who could pick up a fire poker and shove it through someone's chest.
let me just check and see if I have stats for him. I do have stats for him. No. Talking about a strength of 35 on this guy.
Okay.
He's actually older than he looks too. Well, okay, cool. So, anyway, I thank you for the brandy. He says, if anything else comes to me, I'll be sure to let you know right away.
Really appreciated. I'm worried about you, though, sir.
I'm
We
worried
are a
about.
company of men. You're just one by themselves.
I'm an old man. I'm no danger to anybody.
And if you are in danger, surely you will see it coming.
Indeed, sir. I bid you good night.
Good night.
And he leaves.
Yeah, that was
Sorry?
interesting.
Boulder Dash and Poppycock.
Duncan.
He truly believed what he said,
Markham
whether that was
says.
real or reality.
Markham says, "Shall I begin preparing dinner? Will you be eating in tonight, masters?"
Where did that note from?
He won't be back
Oh.
until late tonight,
He didn't
at
ask
the
us
earliest.
he didn't ask us to meet him there.
He did
Right?
He
not.
did not.
Okay. Hmm.
So what can we share from the day's investigations? What do we know for sure?
Did you pass on what you've discovered about what's his name in terms of his slashy history?
No.
Who are you asking?
Yeah.
Everybody, or Gerard. Did he share his?
Oh,
Yeah, I said I'd
investigations?
tell everybody when I got home.
yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we do. So at least we know that this guy was not the Ripper.
Yes.
I suppose someone will be happy about that.
Yeah, so I'd probably be more. Once I hear that, I'll be more willing. I mean, I won't share
Of course.
the
Yeah, that's probably quite
concern.
a relief to you, and you'll probably want to
Yeah,
let
yeah,
the Masons know about that as soon as possible.
yeah, for sure. To save any
You don't.
arrests and the
Oh,
like.
you don't even need to tell them about the diaries for that. You can just say that you had received word that
Yeah,
he was
I can just
attending these festivities
got,
on those nights.
it's got alibis.
Yep.
I'm surprised they didn't discover them.
Although the detective sergeant, was good enough to let me know that the only things they removed from the premises were the offending poker itself and the body of the late Bidwell. This cube, this strange cube, was not to be found. So this may have been some sort of robbery. And I would think it prudent to form a list of all the guests in attendance to that seance.
Mm.
Good idea.
Or to obtain the list already compiled.
We know.
Oh yeah, the police certainly would have one.
Yeah.
Well, if I give them the good news, I'm sure they'll slip the list my way.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good exchange. You could give them the information on the alibis, and then they give you a list of all the people involved in the séance. Yes.
Yeah, cool. And I guess as it's getting on, we'll just await Ruben's return, or imminent, or lack of return, whichever.
On that note, at in Mercy Hill, are you there, John?
He was having trouble with his mic a minute ago. I don't know if it's still working
Was he?
or not. Yeah, he had messaged the group saying, "Can you hear me?"
Oh,
It might still be in effect.
I don't have
This
the
is
Facebook.
no longer
Let me
muted.
look here.
You heard something about Masons. It's swapping headphones now.
Damn. Okay, well, I tell you what, we'll just leave it up with the 14th of December evening.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Sorry.
All
I
right.
don't know what the hell happened. I walked
It
away
sounds
for a
like you're
minute.
not using your headset anymore.
I had to switch headsets.
Okay, yeah, it
Take
sounds like you're on the room mic again.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one back. Very good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I was talking the whole time you were asking me before. Go ahead.
at Albrook Asylum at Mercy Hill.
Yes.
It's located in the small, yeah, I already mentioned that. It's at the highest point of Mercy Hill, an oppressive looking structure of red brick. It is a small private institution, probably only large enough to hold a handful of patients. It is not accessible to the poor or the lower class, so it's only for people of wealthy or influential families. Dr.
Indeed.
John R. Campbell is in charge of the place. Despite the small size and the high cost of committals, many patients still can suffer the poor health and muscle atrophy typically associated with a lengthy incarceration in any asylum. This is what you had noticed in Bidwell on the night of the party. So even for all of its reputation, ultimately, it's not much better than any other institution for the mentally ill. A dark, hellish place haunted by the screams and moans of the mad. Now, you have not made an appointment, so I take it you're going to walk in and walk up to the front door and talk to whoever answers, yes?
Indeed.
So, kind of a beefy and ugly looking orderly will answer the door. This guy looks like his family tree doesn't have too many branches, if you know what I mean.
Right.
He says, who are you? What do you want?
I'm Reuben Carmichael of Hudson and Brand. Here's my card. I'm doing an investigation regarding a client of mine, and that I need to verify some dates.
He hands back the card. Says, what client?
Mr. John Bidwell.
Give me a credit rating roll.
Oof,
Just to see if he's convinced, if he's impressed or not with your standing,
well,
etc.
Everyone, good thoughts. 33, which I think is not good enough. Stand by. Credit rating of 23, so I am deficient in that aspect.
You can spend 10 luck, or you can push the roll with the consequence of a second failure. Remember that you can't spend luck if you push the roll. If you fail the second time, he is going to threaten to call the constabulary and deny you.
Very good.
And deny you access, ban you from the premises.
Well, why don't I try to intimidate instead as a counteroffer?
How are you going to try to intimidate this guy? He's way bigger than you.
But if social status means anything to him,
well, you rolled that just now. It didn't impress him, but okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be my social status. I was thinking about throwing a name in there.
Okay. Yeah.
I will accept the push as the correct answer. Hold on.
No, you can definitely try and intimidate, but again, this is going to have a similar. Maybe your intimidate is better than a push credit rating, though. Yeah.
It's 10 higher or 12 higher.
Go for it. Roll it.
33, which I think is just a success.
Did you roll 33 again?
33, and it is.
Yeah, it's a pass, right?
I just looked that up. Hold on. What was that? Intimidate 35. So he just made it.
All right. I'll let you in. He lets you into the reception area. Now,
there's an old crone. I have to do it again too.
I don't have the information you're looking for. Only Dr. Campbell has access to those records.
Of course. And I know I have no appointment, so I will wait at his convenience, of course.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're gonna have to roll again.
Just a random roll? You got it.
No, like your credit rating or intimidate.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I failed with a 58. I would not try to intimidate again,
Okay.
so.
Dr. Campbell's gone home for the day. You want to set an appointment for the morning? You can see him at 10 o'clock.
Well, sir, I hate to be a bother to anyone, and I certainly don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, very well. The door's over there. Good night.
But I will take the appointment for the morning.
Name?
Reuben Carmichael Brand.
Spell that.
Here's the card again.
Right. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. He just points at the door.
All right. So
I saw the picture of Williamson up there. Sorry about that. That guy's been gone a while.
what are the options for the immediate town? So if he can, he's going to try to telegram back or whatever, phone.
I'm sure there's a post office, and any post office will have a telephone.
Is there a
so
phone? Is there a phone? What phone would we use as far as a messenger?
Probably not. You probably have to send a telegram.
Telegram it is.
Telegraph, whatever the hell it was. Yeah, I don't know really much about Mercy Hill. It's a Gloucester County community, small community. So yeah, I'd say it's probably like a small village, but they definitely still would have a post office. So you could send a telegram. And,
well, it is. You
could find probably a cheap like room in an inn or something. You know what I mean? Something to stay in.
It is a 3-hour trip back. If I hurry, I can make it back and deal with these people with somebody else with more charm, because clearly I'm not the right person to work into.
What's your luck?
50. Hold on. 50.
Yeah, you wouldn't be back by 10 o'clock tomorrow, though. You wouldn't be able to get back till midday.
I don't think I'm well suited enough to get the information that we need anyway. If I couldn't get to the door,
okay,
I'm gonna call it a wash.
Okay.
Head back.
Okay. Good. That's where we'll end the session then for tonight. So it'll be late.
I keep forgetting how unsocially suited Reuben is to be the figurehead of this organization. Clandestine picking of locks and procuring of art, that's Reuben.
Yeah, by the time you get back, I mean, it's going to be too late at night for any further investigation. So more than likely we'll be picking up with the Tuesday morning.
That's really funny too, because you're always like trying to charm and persuade and fast talk people at every turn.
Every time, and then I tell you to roll, and you're like, "Oh,
wait, I got a 10 in that."
I keep forgetting about that. Well, you know, he's like Data. He's trying to be better than he was made.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the recording here anyway. So,
but hey, you know what? You'll never increase those skills